out of everything.
I mean, because when look, Lamar, when you deal in truth and you speak in truth, man, it's kind of hard not to have a counter to everything, man. But anyway, we live, man. Welcome back to Man Down Sports. We live on the IOW YouTube page as well as the Man Down YouTube page
Yes,
because we
sir.
got an IOW guest here, Lamar here, familiar with the show, always here, either in spirit or in the comment section or as
Oh
a
yeah.
guest, man. So it's good to have him as a guest today, man. We got a lot of topics we want to run down: NFL, NBA, and all of those things, man. NFL schedule is out, man, so we'll touch on that, man. But man, last night, man, the Phoenix Suns got eliminated in horrible fashion. Kevin Durant didn't look good. Booker didn't look good. The whole Phoenix Suns team didn't look good. DeAndre Ayton
Didn't even
didn't play
play.
for bruised ribs. And Jokic, bro, they let Caldwell Pope run through them, man. He dropped 17 on him in the first quarter. The game was
Now,
over
what
in the
was that
first quarter.
KCP at in LA?
He was, I mean, KCP was hitting threes in LA, but it was just out. He was off and on. But you know how that story goes when you playing
With Brian.
with a ball dominant player,
No,
and your job is to catch
see,
and
man,
shoot.
I like what you say. You don't say the name, but ball dominant player. Hey, say it. Say it. LeBron James. Say
Which is but it's interesting because LeBron's not ball dominant this year.
this year
After the trade.
after the trade. Yes,
After the
I
trade.
agree with you.
Yeah, he's looked good, man. We might talk about some of that, man. But first, Aiton didn't play. KD played horrible. However, there was up one when KD went to the bench in the first quarter, and then they went on like a 17-0 run or something like that. Denver did, while KD was sitting there watching from the bench, and after that, it was over. You know, so I don't know what to attribute that to. They didn't show up ready. That's for sure. But here's the conversation that everybody is having on all the networks and all the social media. A sweep by Brooklyn against Boston last year, and this year in the second round against Jokic, you lose in horrible fashion. Even though you did get 2 games out of it, you still lose in horrible fashion in Game 6. And now everyone is saying, is KD still that dude? Can we start questioning his legacy? What did he place at all time? Is Steph better than him? All these questions are coming out, and I just want to hear from y'all. Are we supposed to start looking at Kevin Durant different and start looking at his legacy different just based on this playoff run and this season? What's y'all thoughts?
You want it, Chris?
I'm the resident KD fan, so I'll let you go first before I shred the airways.
Well, I mean, it's no secret. We all recognize KD's talent as a basketball player, but I think what we really need to look at is him as a person. He just wants to play ball. You know what I'm saying? So you asking him, people are putting these expectations on him, like he's supposed to be like a LeBron or Curry or Jordan, to be like the magnifying or the standard barrier of what a leader is supposed to be. But not everybody has that, rah top type of leadership, or bark at your teammates. Not everybody's going to have that Kobe Jordan mentality. So I look at KD as in he's just a basketball minded person. He just wants to hoop, where he doesn't care about all this social media stuff, even though he gets involved in it. He say he don't care, but he does. And it's like, I mean, let's be honest. The man don't brush his hair, don't put no lotion on. I ain't never seen him with a lady. Ain't even heard no rumors with him with a lady. So like he's about basketball, dog. Like for real. So that's how I look at him, and that's how I see his legacy. Now I look at his legacy talent wise. I don't look at it, I mean, they're always going to bring up him going to Golden State. They always going to bring that up. But I mean, we've had debates about it on the show before. The Warriors needed him just as much as he needed the Warriors. So at the end of the day, he's just going to always be a talented piece on your squad. But if you're looking for that leader, rah, hey, let's push through, play the mental game, that ain't him, man. Go ahead, Chris. Shred it up.
So if we want to talk about Kevin Durant's legacy due to these playoff woes as of late, in the same breath, you have to mention LeBron's legacy, how he got swept twice in the finals. The times that he got bounced, he didn't make the playoffs with the Lakers. When he got bounced in the first round by the Suns, we got to talk about that too. If that's a tarnish on KD's legacy, then it's a tarnish on LeBron's legacy as well. But we don't hear that much about the two sweeps in the finals, the getting bounced in the first round, the not making it, not even making the play-in. So I don't think it's that much of a hit on Kevin Durant's legacy. Like you said, he just wants the ball, and you have to take into account everything that happened this season, right? The turmoil in Brooklyn, getting traded, the injuries, 2 injuries in Phoenix. So he had the injury when he got traded. He came back, played 3 games, and got hurt on a freak injury again. So he never really got. No matter how good he and Booker looked in the playoffs, that's him and Booker. They are hoopers, certified ballers. No matter what, they're gonna look good. So you put them together, cool, right? But he still doesn't have the chemistry with the rest of the team. They've only played less than 20 games together, including regular season and playoffs, right? Less than 20 games. Not to mention you lost your bench in getting KD. So Booker and KD have been putting up astronomical numbers, right?
And logging crazy minutes.
Both of them were averaging over 30. So I think Booker was leading the playoffs, averaging 36, and KD was 6th, averaging 30 even. That's crazy when your two players are accounting for almost 70 points a game by themselves. You don't think that's taxing? Not to mention, let's talk about how they bounced the Clippers in 5. A Clippers team that with no Kawhi and with no PG was a very well-built team, and they still was running them.
You know what's crazy, Chris? I can make a case that the Clippers could have won that series. And they should have.
The Clippers could have won that series. They was in every game. It wasn't until middle end of the fourth quarter, Phoenix would get a crazy run, and then Westbrook would be the Westbrook of old, or the Clippers just start turning the ball over. And then it just became insurmountable. But you can say that the Clippers was in every game, and they stole the first one. They stole the first one, so everyone's like, "Oh man," you know. And they were even without Kawhi and PG after game 2, they were still in every game. It was back and forth. Like me watching those games, I was nervous. I'm like, man, if KD gets bounced in the first round by the Clippers with no PG and no Kawhi, I can't defend that. I cannot defend that. So after
it was probably going to happen though. I mean, because if you want to be honest about it, the Phoenix Suns had no business even being competitive in the playoffs. Seriously, just like you said, man, getting rid of like Jay Crowder was a big piece they was trying to keep. For some reason they couldn't figure it out. Yeah, you know, so they had to let him go.
It's another score.
They traded Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson, let him go to bring KD in, and then you know CP3 is 38, 39 years old, man. I don't know what you can expect from all that, and that's a max player. So as far as bringing somebody in to help, you know, they were strapped financially, right? Now I've been saying this even before the playoffs started. I was like, the Phoenix Suns should have never went to war with the soldiers that they had. They should have grabbed more reinforcements, and they didn't have to make a trade to do it after the KD situation. They could have went and just grabbed Dwight Howard. He was in shape. He was playing in Taiwan. And would you rather have Dwight Howard trying to guard Jokic, or would you rather have Ayton trying to guard him, or Landale or Bismarck Biyombo? Or they could have went and got Boogie Cousins. Would you rather have Boogie Cousins, who played with Jokic last year, so he practiced with him for at least half a season? Would you rather have Jokic trying to guard him, and then Jokic have to come out to the 3-point line where Boogie Cousins' range is at, right? And at least put some pressure on Jokic defense on the defensive end. Like, so you had 2 options as a free agent. DeMarcus Cousins and Dwight Howard. It wouldn't have cost you nothing but the vet minimum. They could have easily made their bench better. They could have easily got more. Would you rather come off the bench and have Torrey Craig shooting your threes, or Carmelo Anthony shooting your threes? You get what I'm saying? Like, did you really want Cam Payne to jump in the starting lineup when you wasn't even playing him before, right? Or would you rather have somebody like Rondo out there that you just could have written easily grabbed from free agency. So the Phoenix Suns, as a front office, didn't do what they supposed to do after they got Kevin Durant. But that's the story of Kevin Durant's life, because teams think once they get Kevin Durant, the offense is just so, all right, man, so everything's good now. Like, we don't even have to really call plays for him. Just give him the ball and let him ISO and he go shoot the jump shot. But you got to do a little bit more work too. So they made everything too hard for him. And they didn't have no help, no bench, no scoring other than Booker and Kevin Durant. Man, that was just a tough sell, and they made a good go of it. However, let's get to this whole thing. Dino said, "What is KD's legacy as of now?" Just to answer the question, I don't think his legacy changes, because we understand why he's not making playoff runs right now. He hasn't had any continuity for the last 3 or 4 years. The Brooklyn situation was crazy, and they never did let them get their feet set to actually doing anything. You know what I'm saying? So, once they actually got good and they started playing together their first year, and then they made their playoff run, and they was about to put out the Bucks, but Kyrie Irving tore his ankle up, and then the next game after that, James Harden tore his hamstring up. That was the best we was gonna see them, and we thought we was gonna see it again the next season when they both came in healthy. But Kyrie got suspended for not taking the vax. And then Harden asked for the trade, and then they bring Ben Simmons in, and Ben Simmons can't play because he's back, and he's on a max contract that straps them. And then the next season came, and they thought they was going to try to be able to do something again. But Kevin Durant goes down hurt, and it was just too much going on. He never had a season where it was like from start to finish they got continuity going, and they went into the playoffs whole with a squad built around him. They can actually do something, man. So his legacy is, he's a champion, two-time MVP, 4-time scoring title, a great defender now. He wasn't before when he first started in OKC, a great defender now, a stone cold killer, I would say a top 5 talent player, but when you add his resume, it drops him down to probably top 10, and maybe a little bit outside of the top 10. But resume and talent wise got him in the top 10 for me. But his reputation is just shot from all the shots he's been taking for some of his personal decisions and stuff like that, man. So that's how I see his legacy.
I was just thinking, Kevin Durant kind of reminds me of Rob Gronkowski, and in this sense, as in the talent's been there, does astronomical numbers, champion, but then you look at the injuries that kind of bring him back down to earth, where he's not so elevated as much, if it makes sense. Because Gronkowski was doing stupid, crazy numbers and winning championships, but then during the injuries, there's times he's not available for championship runs, and he's not available for Super Bowls. So it's like that makes a difference on whether your team succeeds getting a championship or not. And it kind of reminds me of KD. And, to your point of the continuity part, like that's been big. He hasn't had that since Golden State. And you see the difference on the trajectory of how people view him just off of that ever since he's left. I mean, it's just been injury after injury after injury. And you're like, yo, bro, like when you healthy and you ain't got no, problems with the injuries, we know how bad you are. But it's like, dude, man.
Yeah.
I need you to be on the court.
And this is the crazy thing about once the injuries start doing whatever it's doing, once your reputation starts taking a hit and stuff like that, the NBA, because the NBA as a business, they got to figure out what team, what franchise, what players that's going to be the face of their league, that's going to be their marquee players, because they got to use those players to market the league, right? So they really got to make business decisions on who we're going to give favor to, and make no doubt about it, players have favor in the league, right? I mean, we call them star calls, but players have favor and some players don't have favor. And when you're a player that don't have favor going up against a player that does, or a team that don't have favor going up against a team that does, it's an uphill battle for you. And Kevin Durant has put himself in the conversation of the player. He's a superstar still, but with no favor. So the league gives him no favors. So the star calls that he's supposed to get, he's not getting. So when you saw him against Boston last year,
They roughed
We're
them
like,
up.
man, I've never seen no one let that happen to a superstar, man.
Boy, they roughed them up, dog.
Yeah, and we just chalked it up to playoff basketball. Oh, it's playoff basketball, and that's 90 style basketball. But then you seen when Boston played against the Warriors in the finals, they didn't let them do that to Steph Curry.
Hmm.
You get what I'm saying? So the difference between whether you're blowing up with points or not is how they're going to let you defend them. And Kevin Durant don't have that favor no more. He just don't. So everything is uphill for him. But let me play this soundbite real quick. I'm gonna get y'all thoughts on it.
I think KD has let them down because my final point, and this will hit your heart. KD is one of the best scorers in the history of basketball, correct?
Fair. I would agree. 4 scoring titles.
Devin Booker is one of the best scorers of the generation. Maybe he's one of the best scorers of the last 5 years, but not one of the best scorers in the history of basketball. Nikola Jokic is a really good player, but he's not one of the best scorers in the history of basketball. That title belongs to Kevin Durant. So if that is the case, why have I seen the highest scoring games of 50-piece from Nikola Jokic? Why have I seen a 40-piece from Devin Booker? If you are one of the greatest scorers ever in history, not today, in history, then I need you to show it. That's why I think he's let them down.
Chris, thoughts?
That's got to be the dumbest take I've ever heard.
That's Acho. That's Acho.
I knew it was an Acho, bro. That's got to be the dumbest take.
Wow,
why is it dumb though? I think he makes a good point. Now, most of the things he says is dumb, but like seriously, like Kevin Durant is one of the greatest scorers of all time. So why we didn't get to see that on display in this series?
I'll tell you exactly why.
All right, I'll let you go, but I'll be real short. My answer is based on what I just said before the clip.
Mm-hmm.
He don't have the favor no more. So he's playing a different game. Like he's playing against the type of respect Patrick Beverley would get going to the hole. they're giving that to Kevin Durant. But when Jokic goes to the hole, he's getting the Michael Jordan treatment. You get what I'm saying? Like, we're not going to let you embarrass Jokic because we're trying to market Jokic. We're not trying to market KD, so you can do whatever you want to him. And KD, we want you to be able to score against that, because it started when he played against PJ Tucker in that Milwaukee series, and they let PJ Tucker beat the hell out of Kevin Durant, and Kevin Durant still was giving them 40 and 50. So it was almost like one of those things like, man, no matter what we do, we raise the degree of difficulty for Kevin Durant. He's still going to be able to overcome it. And it made for good TV. And treatment. Yeah, and they pushed that that edge against Boston, but he wasn't able to do against Boston what he did against Milwaukee. And the same thing in this playoffs, man. So anyway, that's my thoughts on it, man. Go ahead, Chris.
So Devin Booker in one of the interviews, post-game interviews or something like that, when they asked how does it feel like playing with KD? Like, what does it do for your offense? What does it do for your game? You know, and he said KD being there is a distraction. It gives him the luxury to do whatever he wants. Mm-hmm. This is why Booker has been dropping 40 pieces, 35-point games on a consistent basis. KD is not searching for the numbers. This is the game that we see of Kevin Durant. And I told somebody this when I was having a conversation with somebody about who's the best player in the world right now. And I said that it's KD because he can score from anywhere. He can play make. He can defend. There are very few holes in his game, and he opens up the floor for everybody else, right? This is a prime example. KD's still gonna get his regardless. That's why he was averaging 30 in the playoffs. He's gonna get his regardless. But now him being who he is garners so much attention that they forget, okay, well, you have to pick your poison. It's, do we want KD to go off or do we want Booker to go off? Well, we know that KD can get a 50 piece. We know that KD can go for 40 whenever. We'll take our chances on locking Booker down. And it still doesn't work because it's just two explosive talents. But they still would rather Booker go off than KD go off. So KD still gets all that attention. But KD still was putting up 30 a game. Like, it doesn't matter. But that's what he does. He opens up the floor for Booker to go crazy. So that's why KD is not getting 45, 50-point games in the playoffs, because he's not looking for that. He's not searching for that. And it's not for him. He's there.
Should he be searching for it when they're losing though? We gotta be honest. He didn't look like we expected Kevin Durant to look, man. He was affected by how physical they was able to play. And, of course, Denver was getting away with a lot of hand checking on him and a lot of contact and a lot of fouls. I think that's unfair, man, because they wasn't doing it both ways like that. They wasn't letting Denver be guarded like that, especially not Jokic. They wasn't allowing that. So I think it's kind of jacked up that they did that. But that's how they called the game. So I'm thinking in my head, like, at some point you got to take a fine. If you Monty Williams, you got to come out there, do what Steve Kerr did. Steve Kerr, and we'll talk about this in the next segment, but Steve Kerr, he out there begging for help from the referees. Oh, they flopping and all this stuff. And the funny thing about it is, Steve Kerr, the topic of conversation is the illegal screens that they set for Steph and Clay. And they're saying they're flopping on our illegal screens. Can you stop the flopping? Because we want you to tell them to stop flopping so y'all don't call our illegal screens. But we still want to be able to set illegal screens. It's just he's still at least trying. You know what I mean? He's trying to get the referee's attention, and it worked. You know what I mean? It worked. But Monty Williams, like, you gotta come out there and protect your players, man. Because Kevin Durant is not going to run up in the referee's face like Draymond and tell them they're fouling me. Jokic was doing it. Mm-hmm. Jokic, every time Jokic got a foul or got manhandled and then get called, he was over there talking to the refs.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So
Luka.
Yeah, but I mean, he doing it a different way. He don't do it while the play's still going, but he go over there and do it. You know what I mean? But he knows he's not supposed to be getting touched. Look, man, he's touching me. Like, I'm Jokic. You're not supposed to be doing it. I'm supposed to have favor this series.
That's the ball player in Kevin Durant. He's not gonna allow himself to show emotion or show that, like, he feels like the calls are affecting his game. Yeah,
because he think he's so good, and this is the flaw that I'm seeing in Kevin Durant the last couple of years. He's so good that he wants to be he wants to challenge himself to be able to beat the challenge that they're giving him by saying, okay, we're gonna allow them to foul you. Can you beat it? So he's trying to beat that, and I know what that feels like. He's trying to beat something that most players would go and say, referees called that so I can get my stuff off. Yeah. But Kevin Durant's trying to accept the challenge and beat that. And the other thing he's doing is his jump shot is so good that he's relying on it. When I think sometimes just go get the layup, get the contact in the paint, and see if you can get to the line. But he's taking all that contact and saying, I'm still gonna rise up and pull this jump shot because I'm so good at it. So I think he got to change his mind a little bit. Like, look, man, instead of me getting in the post and turning over this shoulder and doing this fadeaway over you, let me go ahead and just hit the up and under and see if I can get something at the rim. That's why I want to see Kevin Durant start doing. He got it in his game, but he's trusting the jump shot too much. I got a call on the line. Dino, what's up?
Fellas, what's goody? What's up? How we living?
Good, man.
Assalamu alaikum, brother.
He's bacon. What's up, Dino?
My brother. Hey, look, man. Look. Real talk. I agree with everything that's been said by all three, because I don't really think anybody really opposed anybody with each other's views. But real great point. That snippet you played, who was that talking?
Emmanuel Acho.
Acho, yeah.
Okay. With that, I had sent in a comment. Could that have been a coaching issue?
It could be.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like,
I feel like Monty could have probably seen that Durant grabbed so much attention. Well, I have another prolific scorer, so while they paying attention to KD, Booker go get yours. And then once you get hot, because we saw once Booker got hot, it didn't matter who you threw at him, he was still scoring.
Right. Now the reason. Now I have something to actually add on to that as well. Last time I came on the live, remember I was speaking about chemistry. Chemistry is a huge thing in the playoffs. Denver, that chemistry that Jamal Murray and Jokic, I think I heard one of the reporters say it during the game, like their chemistry is similar to what Oscar Robertson and Moses Malone was doing. That's chemistry, that's really tough to beat, especially when you won't have much playing time together because you got traded over here mid-season, and in the midst, like you said, Chris, in the midst of that, you had that freak injury. So y'all really don't have, and then Chris Paul, you go down, which was almost
Guaranteed.
You know what I mean? You feel
He
me?
said guaranteed.
So it's like there's no chemistry to be built there. And the two players that was really holding Phoenix together when Booker and CP wasn't, y'all traded them away. Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges.
Yep.
So now you have a team with basically no chemistry at all, no room to build chemistry going against a team that's been playing together very well for the last 4 years, but -2 because Jamal Murray got hurt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that chemistry was still there. And when Jamal Murray came back in the beginning of the season, we've seen it. It was like they didn't lose a step. They still had that chemistry. So I think that's still a tough task to ask of KD. Even if you go out there and ask, hey, man, we losing. I need you to score 40. Just, you know what I'm saying? That's still a tough task to do. I'm playing with a whole new group of guys. And, I mean, you have chemistry with Book from the USA team, but that's literally it. That's a tough task to ask anybody. 2 men versus 5, 7, that's tough to do for anybody. So
Yeah, and especially with Monty Williams, the first 2 games not trusting his bench at all. I'm talking about TJ Warren, Terrence Ross, Karen Payne. They didn't get in the game at all in the first game. Second game, I thought Phoenix had
dropped 30 last night.
He dropped 30 last night. Yeah, Phoenix actually had control over the second game, and then the bottom fell out at some point. Denver went on a run, but I think that was a little bit of coaching, but also a little bit of hands off the merchandise. Like this whole series for me boiled down to: Are you going to allow us to beat Jokic up the way you're allowing us to beat up Kevin Durant? And the answer to that was no. We're going to let Bruce Brown, Aaron Gordon, even the rookie Christian Braun. It don't matter who guard Kevin Durant. We're going to allow them maximal contact. And Kevin Durant has to figure it out. But when you guard Jokic, you got to guard him honest and do the best you can because we're not going to allow you to beat him up. Draymond Green beat him up last year in the Warriors series. And they allowed it, and the Warriors beat them pretty easily. So the series for me really boiled down to, hands off the merchandise approach to Jokic, but not to the stars on the Phoenix side.
Can I say something real quick? The Suns owner is an idiot. If I'm him, I'm crying. I'm begging for a suspension. I'm going in for all of that. You know what 1 game suspension would have did for the Suns?
Oh, it would have done wonders.
It would have won them series.
He didn't play it well.
No, he did not.
Mark Cuban would have done it.
Mark Cuban would have sold it. Mark Cuban would have sold it.
That's just when you are honest, man. It bites you in the ass sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta have that dog in you, man.
Yeah.
Hey.
He showed a little bit when he flopped.
Come on,
he showed a
NBA
little
ain't built
bit
off
when he flopped,
honesty,
man.
bro. NBA is not built off of honesty,
Yeah,
bro.
I'd have milked that. I'd have still been in the hospital.
I would have
came in with a neck brace on. I came in with a wheelchair.
I would have sent Adam. I would have sent Adam Silver some fabricated Photoshop X-rays of a bruised sternum.
For sure.
I'm like, either he gets suspended or I press charges. What you want to do?
Yeah, he should have milked it for sure. He should have milked it.
Absolutely, man. But I respect honesty, man.
Does milk it, right? Even if he does milk it, it's kind of similar to what you said about Draymond, Mel. When they looking to make these decisions, they try and look back at, okay, is this a habit or is this just heat of the moment type of the deal? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think
only has one out of character major thing that you don't do, and that was the when he pushed Marcus Morris in the back.
He got something else against campaign year before last or last year too.
But that's like player on player though. But
yeah, that's player on player.
Once you go player to fan, all that immediately goes out the window.
Yeah. You're not looking at history when it's player to fan. You're looking at the precedents that was set by Malice in the Palace. You immediately connected to Malice in the Palace because that's what we're trying to prevent. You get what I'm saying? So if that fan had not have been the team owner and that fan had been someone that was just a regular fan and his family was there, just like when Jokic brothers was in the audience and the security had to stop them from coming on the court when he pushed Morris, all right, that could have been easily the same thing if Jokic had pushed a fan and they had their whole family members right there. They could have turned into a fight. So you know what I'm saying? So the whole point of putting those rules in place that players can't go in the fan was to protect the fans and protect the player. And they threw that all out the window and was thinking about the repercussions that would happen if we suspend Jokic and Denver loses this series. They didn't want that heat. They didn't want another series saying that it was rigged because we suspended a star player.
Do we see Denver and Philly cooking up here? Is that a good money move? I'm
gonna let Lamar answer that. Lamar. Think of it this way: if you're the NBA commissioner and you want to sell a fight, do you think the Embiid versus Jokic battle would be great, or do you think a Boston Celtics LA battle, they both going for banner number 18? Do you think that'd be great, or do you think a LeBron?
The bubble rematch.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. A LeBron Heat or a rematch of Warriors Celtics. Like what do you want?
To be honest, you got a lot of variables that can actually make a lot of sense money wise for the bottom line of the NBA. Warriors in there always draws money. LeBron in there always draws money. LeBron versus Celtics would draw money because of Lakers Celtics history. But to me, because you look at Embiid got snuffed as MVP the last 2 years, gets it this year. Jokic got it the last two. A lot of people saying it's voter fatigue that Embiid got it, and there's a backstory for it. So you can take all those last 3 years, you can package that for like almost like a Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury fight with Jokic and Embiid. So that's actually kind of been a matchup lately that I've been thinking that the NBA would try to formulate and find a way to get. Philly kind of dropped the bag last night, shitting at home. I mean, that was
they did.
Absolutely.
But to me, honestly, I think that's the matchup that Adam Silver in front office in New York is probably cooking up, as in how they're going to sell this. Last two MVPs, top two candidates of MVP the last 3 years. They can easily, WWE market this up easily with that.
I disagree.
Okay.
I don't think that we will ever see a Jokic Embiid finals. Just for the simple fact, we've seen that already. And Embiid whoops Jokic ass every time. Every time.
We didn't see it in a 7-game series though.
We ain't seen no 7. We ain't seen in no 7-game series after they say Kendrick Perkins split the room with black and white, and then Kendrick Perkins and JJ Reddick went at it, and then Embiid won the MVP, and then people think Jokic should have got it. Yeah, I mean, it'd almost be the modern day Larry Bird, Magic Johnson.
That's another factor that you can add into that.
That's a good point. That's a great point.
So I feel like I have a couple. This is for one of the times that I can't really call it. It's a lot of up in the airs, like with the teams that's left, right? I will say if Golden State wins tonight, they're gonna go to the finals. To be able to, if they pull this one out the fire, I feel like that. I feel like they will. I feel like AD. They've been saying that he's okay, he's good, but that was a mean shot. He got wheeled out in the wheelchair. Like you might have avoided concussion protocol, but like dude's effed up. So, and they'll probably let Draymond get a little more handsy, a little more active. But this is like to do a 3-1 on LeBron when LeBron did a 3-1 on you. I think that's like must see
So
TV.
many storylines. Oh man,
It's so many storylines,
I
bro.
like that though.
yeah. It's like it's like the way
But
they
that's
set
very.
the way the
but that's
league
very-
the way the league set up these stories. It's almost like Thanksgiving, man. You cook all of this stuff, and then you're able to, let's see how long we can eat off this. You know, can we go 1 week? Can we go 2 weeks? Like, how long is that turkey gonna be? You get what I'm saying? So
Turkey
yeah,
soup, turkey
it's
sandwiches.
Thanksgiving. Yeah, so their job in the media is to build storylines up so much, and it has so much drama and tension and discontent in there to where it actually explode. There's Thanksgiving, man. We can eat on this all summer, talking about this 3-1 comeback, the revenge 3-1 comeback. The Warriors got on LeBron, and then oh man, what does this do to LeBron's legacy? I mean, you can talk about that all
What does
summer.
it do to Steph's legacy?
Oh yeah.
Ooh,
So
I do
which
have
one
a
of these
question.
is going to be a Thanksgiving feast?
I do have a question though. With say, okay, Golden State wins tonight, right?
Mm-hmm.
They won't, but go ahead.
I mean, you got to think, man. The Lakers are banged up bad, man. Bron rolled the left ankle this time instead of the right after already trying to just getting back off the right. You know what I mean? Now the left ankle. So if Golden State wins tonight, that's going to be a tough game 7 for the Lakers. So Chris, you might be right.
Yeah.
They'll pull that through.
So
Exactly.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
you right. They might win because this is what I thought for real with both of these game 6s and even the game 5. I knew I was 90%, maybe 95% sure that Denver was supposed to win that series. They wanted Denver to advance, and in that case, when they want a team to win, they're not going to let it go to 7. Right? They're not going to let it go to 7 because anything can happen in that 7 games. So
I was going to say the same.
they got the Denver series over in 6. Now with this Golden State and LA thing, what I think they want is to get the most games out of this as possible. So I can see this going 7. And I still wouldn't know who they want to advance. I just know they wanted 7 games out of this. And anything can happen. You know, you get what I'm saying? So I'm with you, Chris. If they win, if the Lakers don't win it tonight, they might be in some trouble.
I want to say, like, I think the leagues. I think
This
the
year
league
Western Conference Finals, really.
I think the league seen what Steph did in Game 7 against Sacramento, and they want to see if you can put, you know,
which they cheated Sacramento. They shouldn't win 7 games either. They shouldn't have won 7 games either. Hey, since we already own them, we already own the Lakers. Let's go ahead and move the Lakers Warriors, right? And
I want Steph in the finals to play against the Heat. The Heat would have beat them last year, and I feel like they could beat them again this year.
I don't want the Warriors to get nobody who missing players, and give them no easy ring. I don't want that, man. You know, I want somebody. You know, I want to see somebody that was evenly as matched as Boston was last year, but I want to see it ref in a way what 100% the players are making the decision who's gonna be the champion, and it's not slighted for our entertainment. I don't like that.
Well, make sure Scott Foster ain't in the finals.
Make sure what?
Make sure Scott Foster ain't reffing the finals.
Oh man, he gonna be there.
Oh man, he's repping our game tonight.
Yeah, good luck.
No, hey, I will tell you this though. I will, because Game 6 is back in Miami, right?
Yeah.
Y'all gonna win tonight. Y'all bouncing the Knicks tonight.
Scott Foster is the ultimate extender though. They put him on series. They put him on
tonight.
games where it's supposed to extend and go to a game 7.
He is the Cinderella. He is the Cinderella story. They're not going to pass on this opportunity for them to advance to the conference finals at home.
Doubt it. So, well, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the Heat might win, but they gonna have to win in Game 7 in New York.
Mm-hmm.
But to this Lakers Warriors situation,
Lakers
Warriors situation, real quick, Morris.
Yeah.
So you kind of spoke about some of the things that's going on ahead of this Game 6. AD had that head injury, and I think another thing that kind of changed the series a little bit is Kerr complaining in public about the quote unquote flops from the Lakers players, and it seemed like the referees heard it, and it seemed like the referees, is kind of changing the way they call it. You know, the free throws was much even last night. The fouls was much even, and they didn't call that many illegal screens on the Warriors and all that stuff. So, what do you see having more of a factor in the Game 6? AD's injury or this flop narrative that's out there that's kind of influencing the referees?
Plot twist is Andrew Wiggins with a fractured rib.
Okay.
I don't know how he got a fractured rib, but reports came out that he does have a fractured rib and he's questionable to play.
I think that's huge if you don't play.
That's huge. I forgot about that. That's huge.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot all about that.
That means you're asking for Clay to step back up. You got to put Kuminga in the lineup.
Jordan Poole has to play defense now.
Man, Jordan Poole has to play basketball because he's been hot garbage.
Wait. He wasn't suspended. He wasn't suspended or nothing.
Who?
Jordan Poole.
No, suspended for what?
He was on the court. He been on the court.
No, he been too. Call him out, man. Cut him some slack, man.
He been too busy.
Him out. Hey, man.
Call him out.
Check me out, right? Check me out. And I said this last year too. Check me out. This man get paid all his bread. This man get paid all his bread. One, I don't think if you're not a two-way, you shouldn't be getting paid that much bread. That's just my opinion. But you get paid all of this money to be exactly what the Warriors were missing, that third scorer, you know what I mean? And we ain't seen you since last year. We haven't seen you since before you signed your check.
That's not true. That's not true. So first of all, Jordan Poole was there all last season. He showed up from the beginning of the season all the way through the playoffs, and they needed him.
Mm-hmm.
Clay was not Clay last year or in the playoffs. Steph Curry got hurt in the first and second round, and Clay had and Poole carried the Warriors. So that's what Jordan Poole looks like when he has the opportunity and the space to be Jordan Poole. What's going on right now is that now that Poole has got paid and got their money, the jealousy has set in for Clay because look, you just paid my replacement, and I'm going to show you that you paid the wrong guy. You should have held that money and saved it for me, right? So I want a max contract extension. I probably ain't gonna get it because that dude. Even though I want to win, I also want to show you that I'm the guy, not him. And Draymond is on the same time. Like, well, I know my contract's coming up, and you just gave the money I'm asking for the Pool, and I'm going to show you he's not the guy either. They have always tried to reiterate the point that the core three of Poole, Clay, Draymond, and Steph is all the Warriors need. That's the point they made to Kevin Durant. You're a B. We don't need you. We won without you. And that's the point they're trying to make with Jordan Poole. So
they need Jordan Poole, though.
But ego is a powerful drug. And it seems like they're rather put the pressure on Jordan Poole and you figure it out, or we want to win without Jordan Poole. We don't care about Jordan Poole. Like, if you tell KD that and you run KD out of town, what you think they gonna do to Jordan Poole?
Yeah, but he just got paid.
But the difference is KD didn't get paid. I paid this guy Jordan Poole.
Yeah, but they was about to pay Kevin Durant if he wanted it. He left and helped Draymond get paid. If KD would have stayed, Draymond wouldn't have got no money.
I hear what you're saying, though. But look, let me tell you, the dynamic is completely different.
And that's why Draymond is sucking on that Clutch Sport glass dick so much, because Clutch Sports and LeBron James is what negotiated his contract with the Warriors and got him paid. And he owes all of that to LeBron.
That man do be loving him some LeBron off court.
Yeah, that's Dookie love.
That man do be loving him some LeBron off court.
Yeah, that's what that is.
Invited him to his wedding and everything.
But check me though, everything's changed because we're talking about somebody who they were about to pay versus somebody they already paid. So it's already set in stone. You the guy. You here. That's the message with that paycheck.
Right. And his teammates are trying to show the front office they're wrong. Even Steve Kerr is a coach, because Steve Kerr didn't make that decision to pay Jordan Poole. That's Bob Myers and the owner, right, and Joe Lacob. So it's almost like Steve Kerr and Steph, Clay, and Draymond are trying to show you made a mistake and paid Poole, and we'll rather push him out and prove it to you. So he's fighting against
Okay,
that.
so
He's not
let me-
fighting up against just the defense that he's playing against in the opposing defense. He's also fighting against his coach and his teammates don't really want him there no more.
Okay, so with them paying him, how do you get rid of that? Do you just take that hit and release him, or who's
No,
taking
you
that
trade.
contract?
You trade
You would
him.
have to trade him.
You trade him.
But what I'm asking though, who's willing to pick? That was a major contract.
Oh, a lot of teams will pick him up.
One-
Jordan Poole is a baller. A lot of people will pick Jordan Poole up.
And 130 is light compared to what these supermaxes are.
Yeah, I would pick Jordan.
Phoenix,
I would pick Jordan Poole up right now before I pick up Clay.
Phoenix. If I'm Phoenix, I'll go for him.
Phoenix has no
I
money.
wouldn't.
Phoenix has no money.
I wouldn't. What?
They will after this year. Ayton is not going to be there, and Chris Paul. I don't really think he's going to be there.
Yeah, but okay,
honestly.
Okay. So look at it
And
this way.
especially if you bring Jordan Poole in.
Oh, look at it this way, Mo. Ayton just got paid, and I think CP3 got 1 or 2 more years on his contract where he's making a buttload of money. Do you think it's easier for Phoenix to move both those contracts than it is for Golden State to move Jordan Poole's contract?
No.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. They don't have a problem with moving Jordan Poole. They will move him. As a matter of fact, that's probably part of the reason why they signed him, because they knew if they didn't sign him, he would have walked in free agency this year. So they signed him and was like, all right, man, we only signed him for 1 year because we're trading before it's time for us to pay Clay and Draymond. And I think that's what's going to happen. The writing is on the wall. They're going to trade Jordan Poole.
Mistake, man.
But look at how we're talking about Jordan Poole now. We're talking about him not showing up, and Draymond and Clay made sure that that's how we see it. So it can be easily sold in the media and to the fans that Golden State can do this without Poole. We'll rather have Draymond and Clay than Poole.
But I'm saying, let's just be honest about the Warriors. You got players on the roster that just can't deal with the fact that, dynasties don't last forever. You got to, at some point, you either, cats, either bodies not, letting them produce like they used to, or it's just time to move on. And to me, I just think the Warriors are hitting that end of the road. And let's be honest, we know for a fact that Steph is the only piece that you don't move.
Yeah. They gonna get caught with that hot potato in their hand when it's time to say hot potato. And that hot potato is going to be a huge Draymond contract, a huge Clay contract. You're not gonna be able to get rid of it, and you're not gonna have their replacement in the building. They brought in Wiseman, Poole, and Moody and Kuminga to be able to be the new movement with Steph moving forward.
Now, you can't. Anybody that knows basketball can disagree with this. You can't tell me that you couldn't find a way, as Steve Kerr, as a basketball IQ that you have, and you've shown that you can be a good coach. You can't tell me you couldn't find a way to use James Wiseman in this series right now. That, to me, that was come on. You talking about a dude that's 7'1", athletic as hell. He could have shut down the paint, and he still could have contributed on the offensive side. Dog, if they had him in this series don't even probably go past 5, and that's on Twitter.
Maybe not. I tell you what, man. I it seemed like Bob Myers was trying to continue this dynasty on with Steph and the new guys, and he was going to move on from Dre and Clay. And once Dre and Clay caught wind of that, they went into whatever mode they went into, where they were saying that we're gonna make sure we stay together, and it's working because they changed their mind on Wiseman real quick. And I'm gonna tell you, they brought Wiseman in. He had a good rookie season with Steph before Steph got hurt, and then Wiseman ended up getting hurt. And in the second year, I think he was kind of injured, and but he was progressing and doing good. I didn't see no problem with Wiseman.
He was actually doing great.
He was doing real good. What ended up happening is I think, and y'all can laugh at me if y'all want to, but I think Dre and Clay was so jealous that they seen their replacements that they started brainwashing Steve Kerr to make it seem like these guys was a problem, and they couldn't fit in because they chose Looney over Wiseman, and what it looked like was that Wiseman was too offensively gifted, and he wanted more offense to come his way, right? And I think Kerr was telling him, look, we don't operate like that. You have to play like Looney. I want you to get nothing but offensive rebounds and play defense. And when you get off a rebound, you need to find Steph.
Yeah, but his talent is so much better than Looney. So like that's to me that was suppressing his talent. That was suppressing.
He was overqualified.
Yeah, he was definitely
overqualified
for the job as a center. I mean, come on, Zaza Pachulia, he was a center. Looney, Bogut, McGee. I mean, you talking about dudes that's just there to just rebound and protect the rim. And
that's the
Wiseman he was so much more than that. And that, I just think that was a foolish move. I mean, look at this, for instance. Look at the Patriots dynasty. You got the constant that was Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. That would be Steph Curry in this situation. All right. So you look at the constant that was there for the whole dynasty, they won throughout. But around him, it was forever changing with the Patriots. You saw all kind of cats that had no business getting Super Bowl rings. They hop on the train, they get a ring. Like
Subway employees.
Bro, it really didn't matter because you had the constant that was Tom Brady and Belichick. You know for a fact the constant in Golden State is Chef Curry. All right, he's gonna be in there cooking. So you can interchange all your other pieces of that dynasty, but you keep trying to hold on to what got you in 2015, 2017, 18. I know you got the ring last year, but let's be honest, some of your road was favorable to get there. Some of your you got some favorable injuries.
So what happened with that analogy when Tom Brady finds his favorite target in Gronk, and they become a package deal, and you can't get rid of Gronk without getting rid of Tom Brady? Isn't that what Clay and Dre is to Steph? So they in a dilemma. They're in a dilemma, man. They got themselves in a pickle, and unfortunately the fate of what happened to Wiseman this year in that trade is going to happen to Kuminga and Poole. They're going to get rid of both of them dudes,
and I think it'd be a bad mistake.
Yeah, Chris, Game 6. You said the flop narrative is not going to be a big deal.
No, it's going to be it might be like a side deal, but it's really because I just got a update. Wiggins is going to go through a pregame warm up, and he's a game time decision. If you don't have Wig, like that's requiring Clay's gonna have to be Game 6 Clay, Steph is gonna have to be Game 7 Steph, and Draymond is gonna have to be Draymond from 2016.
And what the refs got to do?
Let it happen.
Let it happen. You got to let them boys play.
Do y'all see it? Do y'all see any hands off the merchandise action going on tonight, or do y'all think it's
Draymond Green?
Holds ball?
Draymond Green is in AD's jersey all night.
Draymond Green he's about to go psych himself up. He about to go put on his WWE war paint. He's about to go. Yeah. You know he about to get ready. Yeah, he getting ready right now.
Speaking of Draymond Green, though, I want y'all to hear what he said about Stephen A. Smith and the TNT crew laughing at Anthony Davis' head injury and the fact that he was in a wheelchair and all this stuff. He kind of said something I agree with, man. I want to see what y'all think about it. Here's Draymond.
Just don't play with those head injuries, man. They're serious. I saw a lot of people laughing and talk like, but it's a hit to the head. And like one small hit to the head can change everything in your life. So I don't really understand the joke. I don't understand it at all. It's every time you step out on the basketball court, the football field, the hockey, on the ice, on the pitch, you're risking your life because one injury can change everything. You know, we saw in not this past World Cup, but the World Cup before, Neymar have an injury to his back that almost paralyzed him. That was a couple centimeters away from paralyzing him. And so, you know, I don't quite understand the laughing. Why it's so funny that a guy gets hit in the head. Like the smallest hit to the wrong part of the head can change your life.
I kind of agree with that. I thought it was bad taste for them to even have a joke about it. I get that Anthony Davis is injury prone, right? But I even with him just being injury prone, I didn't see it as funny. Like I don't like laughing at people's misfortune. Like when it first started happening, then it was a cooler joke. But once it becomes like a like an issue and I have no control over it, you get what I'm saying? I'm a big guy, I hit the floor a lot, and I'm just built in a way that I sustain injuries easier than the next man. Like you don't laugh at a guy just because that happened. Everybody not built Mississippi tough and Alabama tough and all that stuff. Everybody ain't got those big Shaq African bones. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you gotta chill. And on national TV, when you got millions of people watching you and you got that type of voice, I think you gotta be real careful, especially when you're supposed to be like a big brother in the NBA fraternity. Like, come on, man. Like, you seen how they affected JaVale McGee when he was the butt of the jokes all the time, and he said they will bring up Shaq and the Fool in contract negotiations.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? Like, you got to be better than that. Yeah, you got to be better than that, man. And the way they was laughing, and the way that people, some people thought that the joke was funny on TNT. I just knew Stephen A. Smith would go capitalize on it, so he tried to do his own version of it the next morning, and he went off on AD as well in a joking matter. He had to come back and apologize on Twitter. But I mean, it's just bad taste, man. What's y'all thoughts on it?
I feel like I agree with Draymond. Anytime there's an injury, and I think, man, we spoke about this with the Ben Simmons situation.
Yeah.
Anytime it's an injury, I think we should respect the player, respect the athlete. You know what I'm saying? We shouldn't joke about it because it's true. These guys, I think a lot of people forget because we see them so often on TV. We forget that these guys got lives outside of this. These guys gotta, you know what I'm saying? They gotta go home to their families, be fathers, and you know what I'm saying? They gotta do that. So if I'm taking all of this injury and stuff for some people do it for the love of the game, some people do it for the fans, some people do it for both. Like if I'm doing all of this on the court, you know what I'm saying, busting my ass, listen, I get, like you said, I get it. I get hurt a lot. A lot of people say I'm weak, I'm frail, whatever. But the thing with AD and I mentioned this as well, like this guy's a point guard who grew overnight, literally.
Right.
You know what I mean? So his body is never going to be able to catch up because he's putting so much stress in it, having to work out every day, 3 or 4 times a day. Like, nah, man, it's not cool. I don't think it's ever cool to mimic or mock any injury, whether it's a foot sprain or in this case, a head injury. Yeah. So
especially
I think we do need to be
especially
a little bit more
look, especially not no head injury, man. Anytime you get hit in the head that hard and you lose consciousness even for a second, they diagnose that as a traumatic brain injury. That's a TBI.
Absolutely. And speaking, I'm a football player. I've had a concussion, and I still see things to this day.
Yeah. And they say,
that, you know what I mean? So I understand.
Yeah, and concussions and TBIs, they say most of the times the effects of it don't even show up for years.
Years.
You get what I'm saying? So you got to think about the head injuries and the head hits that Muhammad Ali might have took, and then all of a sudden, he ended up the way he was. You don't know if that has something to do with his boxing career or not. You get what I'm saying? So
have you guys ever had a concussion or a head injury?
I have. I had a TBI. And look, and not only that.
The first thing they told you after they diagnosed you that no bright light, no electronics and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Where in the midst of his situation, I'm surrounded by bright light flashes and stuff because of how many people it is. You know what I mean? Man. That's a serious thing, man.
It is. And look, and I say this, and I give Lamar and Chris the floor real quick, but I say this. Even if they say I'm not laughing at the head injury, I'm laughing at the fact that he was dramatically in a wheelchair. If a doctor tells you get in a wheelchair, because we got a player like Chris Bosh who lost his career because of blood clots, and I know about that because I had blood clots before. And when I went to the hospital for my clot, immediately when I told them I may have a clot in my leg, they put me in a wheelchair. They don't want you to walk because the clot could move. Hey, don't walk, don't do anything, get in this wheelchair. And I was like, I can walk. Why I gotta get in a wheelchair? So if a doctor tells you get in a wheelchair, it's for a reason.
You get your ass in a wheelchair.
You get what I'm saying? So we don't know why they put him in a wheelchair. As soon as he said I'm dizzy, he kept looking up, trying to catch his composure, but he was dizzy. If you get hit in
Avoid
your
further
head,
shock to the body.
yeah, imagine that if you get hit in the head and you can't shake the cobwebs, the dizziness never go away.
Well, they
you
put him
be
in
an
a wheelchair because they put him in a wheelchair because when you have a head injury like that, they don't want you to fall and
Exactly.
make it worse.
Mhm.
And
Exactly.
He also
That-
wasn't walking straight.
yeah,
Yeah.
no. And
He
that's
wasn't walking straight.
It's not
either.
funny.
that's a long fall for AD.
Yeah.
I mean he's
And
tall.
it's not funny.
Mhm.
It's not funny. But anyway, go ahead, Lamar, Chris.
No, it's not funny when it comes to the head, and I understand where they was making the joke at, and I had to reverse my track on it because I was like, yo, they clowning, and I'm like, but to a certain degree, it's not funny. So I was like, oh, okay. Then I had to realize the severity of the injury. I'm like, oh, whoa. So I was like, yo, my bad, because I'm like, yo, that's not even funny. But because you don't want to play with the head. It's a very it's a sensitive muscle when it comes to injuries, and once you pretty much get one concussion, it pretty much opens you up to easily get more.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why you see Tua having the situation he's having. And me personally, I think he's but that's another show, another time. But you just to play devil's advocate, we kind of gotta look at the source of this quote. No disrespect, but like Draymond, like I know you do bring up serious points, but I'm pretty sure you might have caused an injury or two the way that you play. Probably hit somebody. I'm pretty sure that you probably put an elbow in somebody's head area before. You know what I'm saying? And so I sometimes you just got to look at the source of where the quote is coming from, and not saying he's wrong because he's not, because it wasn't funny and you can't play about the head, but it's like Draymond, just some of your antics, man. We just saw you stomp a dude out a couple of weeks ago. And what if you cracked his rib and punched your lung? So it's like, it's kind of.
I agree with that, Lamar. I do agree with that. That's like a preacher trying to justify prostitution. Like
exactly.
I get that.
Like how the hell you a preacher saying leave them concubines alone, but you up in the doing your thing on red light district. It's just to me.
Right. I get that. Absolutely.
It's very contradictory of him for him to come from Draymond, and just a little bit. But go ahead, Chris.
So I don't know if y'all saw it. There's a video that's been going around. It was this young boxer who was kind of promising and was trying to do his thing and in that world. And the story goes that he started boxing so that way he could take care of his family. He got hit with one illegal shot, and he's. I don't
even think it was illegal, bro. I think I know what you're talking about. I don't even think it was illegal.
I think it was. I think it was to the back of the head. I think it might have been accidental.
Yeah. During the split up, they had wrapped up, and during the how the ref stepped in. Yeah.
So he took an accidental illegal shot to the back of the head, and now he's mentally disabled. Mm-hmm. And it was like he started boxing to take care of his family, and now his family has to take care of him. That's one shot. Now I understand boxing is a little bit more than basketball, but it's the same tale. It's a shot to the head, and a pointy elbow to a temple can ruin your life.
Yep.
And
yeah.
Like Dennis said, any injury you shouldn't play with. You shouldn't joke about. Yeah, we laughed at AD is injury prone. It's funny comic material because he goes up for
old by it now.
Yeah,
it's old, man. These dudes got no talent if they think they got to capitalize on that every single time, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Shaq and Charles Barkley are some hating dudes, man. Look, every time, I play Dame Lillard diss track on Shaq almost every morning. It just makes me feel right. It just balances the world, man. When he say, man, you big man hating, mad at my existence. Like I love when Dame Lillard said all that stuff, man. He pretty much laid Shaq out. He read him pretty good.
Yeah, but you can't. Head injuries, it can change you from being a superstar to
a vegetable,
wheelchair bound, relying on other people, can't even wipe yourself. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And for Shaq and Charles to actually, I feel Charles has a list from all the shots that he took. Charles is not the sharpest knife in the box because of all the shots that he took.
Nah, that came from Alabama. That ain't had nothing to do with shots.
No, I've heard Charles back in his playing days. When you listen to Charles now,
that came from Alabama, man. I'm sorry, man. That's just that came from all that red clay, man. That's yeah.
But to come from that era, that physical era, you ever seen Kenny walk to the board?
Oh, he looked like Bambi.
Man, Kenny. So he not lying. What next TNT? Watch Kenny go to the board at halftime. His knees doing more knocking than cops at the door with a warrant.
Bro.
But you ever seen MJ's fingers? Look at MJ's fingers.
How close his knees is, man. They act as a chastity belt. You know what I mean? Ain't no way you get between them thighs, baby.
Hey, he doing more knee knocking than the girls at Freaknik, bro.
Man,
an intensity roll.
I was watching The Last Dance, and Michael be talking, and he'll be using his hands, and his middle and ring fingers is throwing up gang signs.
Yeah, they're definitely doing that.
Like you have these lifelong injuries. How can you laugh about somebody taking a shot to the head? Couldn't walk straight. He dizzy.
It's jealousy, man. They see them contracts these boys signing, man, and they see all the stuff they had to go through, and they be like, man, dang, they ain't even playing 82 games, and they getting this much money, or man, they're not even the superstar, and they ain't go through the same scrutiny I went to, and they getting this much money. So it's a lot of jealousy there, man.
They gotta let that go, man.
I definitely, while we still here on the lake, I just thought about something. Yeah, I like the Lakers. I like the Lakers to close it out. Lonnie Walker. That was a forgot about gem that I was speaking to my sister about because she was a Spurs fan, and when they got rid of him, I was like, no, that's the one you keep. You keep him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but they got rid of him and Murray to do them a favor.
Lonnie Walker is he's good. Like, he's real good.
Lonnie Walker he would be a target of mine if I was Phoenix and I didn't get Kyrie, or even if I did get Kyrie, Lonnie Walker would be a target to be my backup.
Man, he's really good. Like, he's very gifted. I was watching them in San Antonio play.
Yeah,
like the guy can create. Yeah. He could create a play for anybody on the court.
Yep.
The guy plays excellent on-ball defense.
Yep. He
has that lengthy frame. Man, I like the Lakers. My bad. That was just a random thought.
Yeah.
I was just here listening, and I don't know why that popped in my head.
Yeah.
I still got the Warriors.
So who y'all think? Which side of y'all on with the illegal screen flopping fiasco? Like which side do y'all think is?
The Warriors still do set illegal screens. That's just what their game is built off of. But
go get somebody that can set screens.
For LeBron to come out and say what he said was a crock of shit.
Well, I mean, what he was factual when he said we don't practice. We don't teach flopping. That's true. That's a true statement. Now, him saying that actually no team I've ever been on teach flopping, I believe that too. Nobody's teaching them to flop. So he was factual with what he said. But
LeBron teaching them. What you talking about?
Thank you. Thank you.
Man.
I will say this though. When Dennis Schroeder said, they're setting illegal screens, and if I don't show them that they're setting an illegal screen, they're not going to call it. So he basically said, yeah, I'm flopping, but what I'm doing is I'm reacting to an illegal screen. And we just talked about Kevin Durant and the fouls that they're giving him. He's trying to challenge himself to play through it and still score, where he probably could be trying to flop and show them that they're fouling him. I don't know. It's a catch-22. Like, which way do you go? Do you want to show them what they're doing illegal, or do you just want to challenge yourself to play through it? And I definitely wouldn't play through illegal screens from Golden State, because they're illegal screen you for 4 straight quarters. There ain't nothing you can do.
Yeah,
you know, so I'm not. Yeah, I'm fighting that battle with Steve Kerr and the media, and I'm trying to get the referees to see it my way. But I think they lean more toward the Warriors last game with the flops.
I think it'll tell you how they reference it in the first 5 minutes, how they're going to ref it, and hopefully that it's consistent throughout the whole game. But that to me, because I mean, soon as Golden State gets the ball, they're gonna start setting screens anyway. So
yeah,
it's do you fight through it? Try to show it. I mean, but look, let's be honest. When you know that you play the Warriors, you're gonna have to deal with those screens, and so it's
that's on tape.
Yeah, that's just on tape. You're going to see it, and you gotta, I guess, try to find a defensive game plan to try to combat it. I mean, I don't know if you stick with man when you play the Warriors, and try to
take a page out of Kobe's book. Run through the screen.
Yeah,
ain't gonna keep that.
Yeah, but you gotta be careful on who does that. It can't be AD or LeBron that run through that screen. It gotta be somebody who can spare that foul.
I can exhaust. I don't need Dennis Schroeder.
Hey, let Tristan Thompson do it. He ain't doing nothing else.
Yeah.
He ain't doing nothing else.
At the guard position, you got Reeves, you got D'Lo, you got Schroeder. Lonnie Walker.
Nah, man. I'm not wasting their fouls.
And then you can still come off the bench with Beasley if you need it. You got 5 wing players.
I let Dennis Schroeder take that foul. I think he didn't even play a lot of minutes. I think he only had like 4 or 5 minutes that game. Lonnie Walker went crazy.
It's possible.
Like, I don't think he played a lot of minutes that game. Like, Dennis Schroeder is expendable.
So you basically do what Draymond Green is doing. Is I'm gonna walk up to the line and I'm gonna cross it, and I'm gonna see how many times you gonna let me cross it. Because what Draymond and all the NBA commentators will admit to is that once Draymond cross that line and get that first tech, it's gonna be very hard for him to get that second one. So he knows once he gets that first one, he got a lot of leeway. Because nobody.
No, I don't know about that, Mel. Because his play style automatically fishes for flagrant one, and you get a flagrant one, and depending on certain cases, it could turn out to be a flagrant 2. That's your second tech. You're gone.
Yeah, but my thing is, once he get that first one, he knows that I can get away with more because it like, so let's say I get my first flagrant or let's say I get my first tech from getting into a dust up with AD, right? Once I get that first tech, any dust ups I get in after that, the referees are going to be thinking, is this enough for me to kick him out of the game? And the answer is going to be no. So yeah. So he's got to do something even more egregious than that for them to be like, all right, you out. Because they don't want it because they're purposely trying not to kick people out of the game in the playoff series and decide it for the other team. And he knows that and that's part of the veteran part of the Warriors. They know what they can get away with and when they can get away with it and how they can come up to the line and tiptoe the line.
Is that veteran savvy? Do you consider that being veteran savvy?
That's what they consider veteran savvy. I think it's trash by the NBA to even allow it. I think all it takes is one good year of consistency where we're not taking no shit from nobody, and it'll change everything.
Okay,
we'll never see that year. We'll never see that year. Especially as long as Scott Foster is still a referee, you will never see that year.
Hey, Mel, you're gonna be in a wheelchair. You're gonna be like, oh well, damn, everybody getting that call. Well, shit.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, last NBA topic before we get to NFL, and Lamar go take it away for us for the NFL. But JJ Reddick, man, he got an interview with the Toronto Raptors, man, and just based on JJ Reddick talking on First Take on ESPN and on his podcast, and everyone saying this guy is sharp and intelligent was enough for him to get consideration for a head coaching job, right? There are a lot of players that say they think JJ Reddick is sharp and deserves to be a head coach, and I don't say they didn't say deserve to be a head coach. They said he would be a great head coach, right? So that's what everyone is saying. That's what the players are saying. But here's an interesting take from Kendrick Perkins. He kind of said the same thing, but he said a little something extra, and I want y'all to hear what he said.
I wonder what your thoughts are on the meeting he had, head coach job possibly for Toronto. You think that's a good fit?
You know what? I actually love it. To be honest, which I think JJ, one thing about it, he knows his shit. And also on top of that, man, anytime you can see a former player that played the game get an opportunity to go sit in that seat, you would love to see it. Obviously, he's jumping ahead of a few guys that I would love to see get an opportunity that's been waiting in line.
Fair.
You know,
Shut up right there,
Sam
Kendrick.
Cassell, Phil Handy, Rex Comedian, my guy. So, you hate to see it because those guys have served as assistants for about 10, 15, 20 years.
Right.
Right. And so when they don't get an opportunity, but you always want to see a guy like JJ do it, and he knows his shit. And there's no bad blood between me and JJ. I get into it with everybody.
All right, who want to go first?
God damn it, Kendrick done said something right.
Get up out of here, if y'all don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, I agree with Perk. It's one of those things that you hear, right? You hear one of you say me or you get a coaching interview or something like that just because our takes are good. Like, of course, we're gonna root for each other, but in the back of our head, we still know there's other more qualified people than you are.
Right.
So it's like you kind of stuck in a rock and a hard place with. You're not wrong for saying JJ Reddick is deserving of this job because he has proven his knowledge of the game. He's played the game. He's played the game at a high level. You know what I mean? So it's really, you can't disqualify him neither. So, but I agree there are other more qualified candidates that we were waiting on. I still feel like Mark Jackson, if he wanted to coach, he should go pursue a job somewhere as well, and somebody should definitely give him a call. But, just I don't want to take it to a race game, but I think Perk would do that before I would. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for the call, Dino.
Yeah, man, I appreciate y'all having me in, man. Y'all supposed to take it easy. I'm going to still be tuned in.
All right, bet.
All right, man. Y'all take it easy.
All right, what y'all think?
God damn it, Perk got one right.
You really feel he got it right, though?
He got one right. And Dennis said it, the one I was thinking about. If he wanted to coach, Mark Jackson should be the first person any team calls. But I don't like this whole just because he was a player makes him qualified. Like, we saw that with Steve Nash, and we seen how well that worked out, right?
Didn't work out too well.
And Steve Nash was like you could say was a higher caliber player than JJ Reddick was, right? 2-time MVP, a starter in this league for a long time. I think JJ Reddick might have started just because somebody was injured. So I've never seen JJ in a high capacity role, and now he's in talks for a head coaching job. I mean, I don't knock anybody for making a check, but to go from the analyst booth to the head coaching job just because you can talk about the game and the game and you played the game.
Every player should be able to talk about the game if he's intelligent. Now, if you're just a dumb jock, then I expect you to sound like Kendrick Perkins. But this is a Duke educated, sharp. 4 years at Duke, played under Coach K. He's sharp, smart guy, and a cerebral player. I expect him to be able to sound great on a podcast or sound great on First Take. Does that qualify you for a head coaching job? I think not. I think, just like you said, I think Steve Nash was just as sharp, and they're blowing people away at interviews probably as well. Because it's certain things we're looking for And it's similar to the Wonderlic test with quarterbacks, man. Like, you know, this test is designed for you to blow it out of the water. You know, so would a player like right now, if he just goes straight to a team, what type of player do you think it has to be to be like, all right, man, I'm ready to follow JJ Reddick and follow his lead? Because it was tough for Steve Nash to get that and get that respect. You get what I'm saying? So a player's gonna see right through that, you know, and it's not just about how sharp you are and how much basketball you know. Can you lead men?
Honestly, I think Toronto might be the best situation for that. There's no superstar in Toronto.
Okay.
It's a blue collar team. It's and JJ was a blue collar player, right? So I feel like Toronto might be the perfect situation because it's players that can relate to JJ and JJ can relate to that team. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily just be like, okay, I'm ready to, you know, blindly follow you out the gate. But I think it's going to be a lot easier for him to garner the trust of that team. It's no superstar that you have to put above everybody else. It's a team full of role players that can actually do well, right? They just need the right push. And maybe a couple more pieces. But I in that case, I do feel like JJ could probably win the team over. But that's the only team I feel like he could win over faster than any other team that he might have had a chance with. Just because of the fact that you kind of starting ground level. The team is ground level with you, and y'all gonna build and learn together.
Lamar.
You know, Mel, I think you just got as much qualifications as JJ Reddick. Why ain't they calling you? I mean, I mean, if we all just gonna talk basketball and then you go get a job, be a head coach professionally, I mean, shit.
I never played in the league, so he at least got that part.
Okay, he got that, but I'm just saying, like, come on, man. Look, I admire Kendrick Perkins. How was you supposed to answer that question? If you say, "Oh, nah, he ain't qualified," he looked like a hater. All right, then they gonna roast him again in social media, talk about him bad, and then his boss is at ESPN, but like, hey, man, this is your fellow ESPN castmate, man. What are you doing? Hey, buddy, that's not what we do around here. We big each other up, buddy. What are you doing? Come on, Kendrick, get with the program, buddy. Yeah. So then he has a problem outside of work, inside of work now, if he don't answer that the right way. So I mean, to be honest, I don't even like when they catch these cats, you know, in the midst of anything, and they ask these questions. Because like, come on, man, like, how is Kendrick supposed to answer that question? What? Come on, man. If he answered that question like me, ESPN on his line, and the next minute that they see that interview, hey, bro, what you doing? So it's
especially after he said that about Jokic.
His leash is very short.
Yeah.
Come on now. Hey, matter of fact, don't be surprised if he get pulled off of air for a little bit, and they, hey, come on, man, we need to have a conversation, man.
Pull a Stephen A. and say he was gone for surgery.
Hey, yeah. Looking at your contract, buddy, Kendrick. We're gonna have a conversation. So it turns into something else for him. Then it's about his money and he had no choice but to be diplomatic. Yeah. So that's not fair on Kendrick to really be put in a position to answer that question. So, but is JJ Reddick? Look, Steve Nash's experiment didn't work. They're going to try it again. You see it in the NFL. Mike Mayock get a job. Jeff Saturday goes from NFL Live to coaching when there's more capable coaches that was already in the building. So it's like you're going to see this. You're going to see a crazy hire or even just a crazy interview. For me personally, if he really wants to be a coach, and go be a coach, go get some experience. Hell, go see G League, so go coach somewhere, get the experience. But to be an automatic candidate for an NBA franchise,
head coach at that, like, come on now, like you went from an assistant.
That's what I'm saying. You went from the outhouse to the penthouse and just like that, and you ain't did no work.
Without even throwing your name, you know what I'm saying? It's one thing for you to show interest and be like, I want to coach, and you throw your name in the hat and you want to be interviewed. And it's another thing for somebody to be like, man, I heard this man on this podcast. Let's see if he want to coach, and then call him for an interview. That's totally different. He didn't express interest in wanting to go coach in the NBA. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? That's different. Like, but Jason Kidd did. When the year before he retired, when he was in New York, he was already telling people he was going to coach. And he retired in New York, and next thing you know, he had the Milwaukee job. Or was it not the Milwaukee, the Brooklyn job. So now he did walk fresh off the court into a coaching gig. So there's nothing wrong with that. However, man, you got
his work still because he's still coaching.
But look with, and I get that. So there was a franchise that took a risk on Jason Kidd. That's still a huge risk. There's no saying that Jason Kidd was going to be the right coach and actually coach your team to success when he has no track record of being a coach. And I get it. It's going to be risk taking involved with or who you hire as your coach, regardless, whether they got coaching history or not. But I prefer a person that's been in the trenches that can make those coaching decisions, as in when it comes to my rotation, looking at the things or where we excel at and another team is not so great at that we can attack them at that point. That takes time and effort and work to do it. Just because you sit and you got all the tools in the touch screens and shit at ESPN and draw plays up for a segment once in a while, that makes you qualified.
Yeah,
come on, man.
Which is why I liked it when the Lakers came out and hired Darvin Ham, because not just because he's a black man, but because if I remember correctly, he did play.
He played for Milwaukee. He played for Milwaukee.
Yeah, and then
he played with Big Dog Glenn Robinson and Ray Allen.
But he's been in the coaching ranks for years.
Yeah,
he's worked his way up, and then he was an assistant somewhere. Like, so that's somebody that's qualified. Like, you've been, like you said, Lamar, somebody who came up through the trenches. They had to do the work. Not just because you were a player, you know what I'm saying? You actually got coaching experience now. Because I think they said, like 15, 20 years that he been coaching? Like assistant coaching or whatever?
You know what's crazy? The only reason why Steve Nash stayed as long as he did is because he had a crew of assistant coaches that's been in the trenches. And he's got a talented roster. So
look
it's
at
like
Jock Vaughn. Oh my goodness. What he did after Steve Nash got bounced.
So and when you see a situation like that, you're like, then what the hell was Steve Nash really doing there?
Yeah.
Look, case in point, look at Boston when Ime Udoka got bounced. And then Joe Mazzulla stepped up. Another assistant. He's been there. You know what I'm saying? Now he's full time. Jock Vaughn, he said they was interim, then he became full time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just to pull JJ off the seat and be like, yeah, we're gonna, test this out.
I'm a big fan of you showing your work. I like the route that Steve Kerr went. Steve Kerr went from championship team to championship team as a player, winning 3 with the Bulls, winning 2 with the Spurs. I think then he went into the front office job, then he got promoted to president at Phoenix, so he did different things. Eric Spoelstra started out as a film guy and worked his way up. You know what I mean? Like that's how you do it in football. You start out as a special teams.
On Coach Spo too. They need to put some respect on that dude.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, they did. They put him in top. He was top 10. He was 10 greatest coaches of all time.
Yeah, and
look,
I
respect that. I respect that heavily.
Yeah, for sure. And look, and then your coaching tree is important as well.
Cool, man.
Now it's not the only thing, because we've seen people get hired that was part of the Belichick coaching tree just because they was part of the Belichick coaching tree. And that ain't a good look, you know what I mean? But you got to have more stuff. But JJ Reddick has none of those things. He just has being sharp and being knowledgeable about basketball, and that's the only thing he got. And you might catch lightning in the ball, you might not. But this is not the same hire as a Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr paid his dues. JJ Reddick hasn't. So I would say no, he's not qualified. But let's move on to NFL. The schedule was released. Yeah. So I want to highlight a couple of games.
I like that graphic down there at the bottom, Mel. I like that graphic.
Yeah. Starting with some week 1 matchups, and one in particular, man, Kansas City Super Bowl champions against this up and coming Lions team.
Talk to
them. Who added some pieces. They got a running back that looked like he might be the next coming of Alvin Kamara, and he got a yeah, man. Then they went and got a quarterback who might not be ready to play this year, but he's something to look forward to. And then Jameson Williamson, I mean, he would have been playing week 1, but they hit him with a gambling scandal. But like, he's still something to be excited about, man. So I'm very interested in this matchup, man. I want to see how y'all navigate and go through it, what y'all expect, and then we'll go through a couple more of the schedule with Lamar, man. But go ahead, man.
Go ahead, Super Bowl champ.
Nah, man. I mean, when you Super Bowl champ, it's automatic. You're pretty much going to open up the season. Now, I was surprised because, like, when you tagged me, Chris, I was like, come on, no way they're going to do that. I'm like, come on, man. Like, but then when you think about it, you look at a lot of the media love that Detroit has been getting, and you see it translate on the field. They have progressed their win totals. You see them putting in the effort to build a contending team. And this year, I'm my way too early prediction. I got the Lions winning the North. So I mean it's a good media story to kick the season off, and it'll be like my man Detroit Mail said, it'll be a good litmus test to see where the Lions at as a franchise when you go against the franchise that people are trying to chase and model after, as in consistency over the last 5 years of winning. So it's a good story, and hopefully we can get this meetup to going. Jay, hopefully you come out, so I won't be the only Chief fan in the building, but the whole IOW man down little collab that we got. So, but nah, man, I think it's gonna be a dope game, and it's definitely gonna be
I think y'all go get clapped. That's just me personally.
Who?
I think Kansas City go get clapped. I'm hearing wet cheeks right now. Yeah.
You hearing what?
I'm hearing wet cheeks and twerking. I think y'all go get clapped, man. Honestly.
Wow, man, that does my heart good.
I want you to hold on to this clip, and then when we come to September 7th, and after everything shakes down.
Hey, of course, I still got to see training camp and all that stuff, man. I can't. I'm not giving my final prediction yet, but
hold on. What you mean you're not giving your final prediction? You just said
this is not my initial final prediction, man. But right now, as of right now, I see y'all getting y'all cheeks clapped.
Oh man, wow, that's an interesting take. Moving on to the rest of week 1.
So, hold on.
No, we moving on because I'm not gonna give you no more ammo for Mel to say anything crazy.
Hold on.
Go ahead, dog. Go ahead.
So, I'm not gonna lie. This was a very well kept secret until yesterday. I was not expecting opening night, but I love the respect. I love the acknowledgement. I love that the attention that we're getting.
I got what, 4 or 5 primetime games?
We have 4 primetime games this year. When we had none. Which is
a lot of respect for a non-playoff team.
That's a lot of respect. And the only we didn't even have any primetime games last year except for that flex on the last game of the season that turned into Sunday night. You know what I'm saying? So to get 4 off and it's some good primetime games too. We got Cowboys on New Year's Eve, Saturday night. We got Packers Thursday night. So but to get opening night, that's
big.
That's bright lights, big stage, and you have a chance to play spoiler on banner night.
True.
Like that is a chance.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go as far as to say what Mel said and say that we're gonna clap Kansas City. I still have a lot to see.
You know he just jinxed you, right?
I have a lot to see. However, I don't think it's gonna be a walk for Kansas City. I think it actually might be a dogfight. I think it might be a shootout. And I'm excited. I'm going to that one in person. Me and Lamar, man. I'm be decked out in my blue. You be decked out in your fire orange or red or whatever color that shit is I'll be wearing. But it's you know what? I think the NFL did good with this one. You got the reigning heavyweight versus the up and coming boxer. So it's gonna be a good opening night matchup, man. I like that one.
I will say this about week 1. I'm 100% surprised that the NFL didn't go with Giants and Jets on Monday night for September 11th. I was shocked that they didn't do that because of the sentimental values for that, obviously. But they did put the Jets on Monday night on September 11th. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers and Josh Allen matchup. I mean, that makes sense.
Already prime time with
September
it.
11th
Already
too.
prime time. September 11th.
Already prime
So,
time.
they're putting Aaron Rodgers. Welcome to New York. Yeah, we're gonna put you on September 11th. You know what that means around New York. So, welcome to New York. This ain't Green Bay no more.
And it's at MetLife too.
Yeah, it's a home game. So I saw that matchup that I thought was interesting. Dolphins Chargers in week 1. And then
Dolphins Chargers. Who gonna be the starting quarterback?
Tua.
Yeah, everything that I'm hearing is they really think Tua's gonna be there. And,
there's even supposed to be a
so.
new helmet for quarterbacks. I don't know
Yeah.
if it's coming out this season or next, but there's supposed to be a new helmet for quarterbacks.
Just make a new rule and just stop tackling quarterbacks. That's what they want to do.
Just put flags on them. Man.
I was just about to say put flags on them.
Yeah, just put the red jersey on them like they do at practice. And hey, look, man, you got to
touch them.
That's your quarterback, man. That's what they want to do.
Yeah, you also got Deshaun Watson versus Joe Burrow week 1 too. So you got a couple of QB matchups that you like. Okay.
So this is what I want to say about the Cleveland Browns, man. I kept waiting for them to turn the corner and start playing good football because they had so many good pieces, man. They had 2 Pro Bowl running backs. They had a quarterback that was supposed to be in Pro Bowl. I don't think he ever played like Deshaun Watson last year. But I don't know if that's gonna happen again this year, man. Like, to be honest with you, is Kareem Hunt coming back?
No, I think he's gone. I think he's still a free agent. Matter of
Free
fact,
agent. So they didn't sign him. So they let him walk. They should have just traded him last year. They really thought they was gonna make a run. If they kept him, they really must have thought they was gonna make a run. Because they could have got a draft pick out of that.
Easily. You know, because he's a starting running back on a lot of franchises right now.
Yeah, for at least 2 more years.
Yeah,
but I don't have a lot of confidence in the Cleveland Browns. I want them to do good because I see the formula there. They got they got an O-line, they can run run block and all that stuff, man, and they got one of the top 3 running backs in the league, and then they got a quarterback that's that good. So I see that they got something there. I got to see them actually turn it into something, man. So I don't know, man. I don't even know if I'm excited about that matchup.
I'm gonna drop a hot take for y'all real quick though. I got Cleveland doing better than Baltimore in the division this season.
You out for that one, bro. Yeah, you out for that one. Yeah, I think you out for that one.
It's a lot of plug and play going on in Baltimore, and I don't think it's gonna work.
What you mean? What trying to add pieces?
Yeah, Odell. I don't think Odell. I don't even think Odell makes it through the whole season. I hate but come on, 2 ACLs. And I'm not even gonna allow you to put that in the atmosphere. As a matter of fact, I'm about to edit that part out. I'm just talking about history. I'm just talking about history. You can't even put that in the atmosphere though. Of course, I want Odell to have a great, full, healthy season, but you have to be a realist.
I want you to get a prostitute pregnant tonight. You want me to put that in the atmosphere? Like, how would you feel? How would you feel if I just threw that out there?
I mean, that means I'm getting some play, which I haven't had in a while. So I guess I'll take it.
So you'll take that? Okay. Yeah. Your life won't be the same, boy. Your life won't be the same.
Hey, LaCour, don't risk it, dog. Don't risk it, bro.
Not for that biscuit. Not for that biscuit.
Nah, bro. That trust me, you ain't got Magic Johnson money. Just make your shit disappear. You ain't got it like that.
Nah, I think Baltimore will. They're gonna have to. They actually spend the first round pick on a skill position. So
I was so hurt. They took Zay Flowers, bro.
That was impressive. I think Lamar put that in his contract. It was like, hey, I'm gonna sign this contract, but that first round pick, you gonna give me somebody. You gonna get me somebody.
So, I was so hurt they took Zay Flowers. I wanted Zay Flowers to come to Kansas City so bad, bro. Zay Flowers is the truth.
Y'all don't need no more. No, y'all don't need nothing else. Y'all good what y'all got. Running back, same people.
Nah, man. This is something interesting that I haven't seen from the NFL. They're doing double headers on Monday nights. So week 2, week 3, and week 14, you got double headers. Now, normally
multiple weeks.
Yes. Now, normally back in the past, when the NFL did a double header, they would have like your one start at like 7 o'clock and your next one starts at 10. So you would have that gap. this year, they're really actually overlapping. So week 2, week 3, and week 14, when you got those double headers. So week 2 and 3, they got double headers. One starts at like 7:15, and your next one starts at 8:15. So that's the first one. That's the first one. I've never seen the NFL do that ever before, because they've always been about their money and want you to focus on that solo game on a Monday night. And now you're competing with another football game on pretty much an hour separated. Now week 14, they're doing a doubleheader, but they're playing them at the same time at 8:15. So I've never seen the NFL do that. So that was one of the interesting things that I saw when they released this schedule. I'm like, NFL.
Real quick, Lamar, what's those games?
All right, so week 2, those doubleheaders, you got Saints Panthers. So Panthers actually got a couple of primetime games. All right, so they're definitely going to display Bryce Young, and they're going to display him early against the Saints, but that's a tough team to display him against on prime time. And then you got Browns Steelers. That's the second game on that doubleheader. Week 3, you got Eagles Buccaneers and Rams Bengals on that doubleheader. Week 14, on that doubleheader, you have Packers Giants, Titans Dolphins. So,
what in the world?
All right, so I'm gonna help you out. I'm gonna help you out, Chris. Now the NFL changed it. Now I think it used to be like week 14 or 15 is when they start flexing. Now they actually moved it up to week 12. So pretty much past week 12, some of those games were, because you're getting some crazy matchups. You're like, ugh, like why are we doing this to ourselves? Like here's for instance, they got Kirk Cousins and the Vikings at least 3 or 4 primetime games, and we all know how Kirk Cousins do on primetime games. So I don't know why they keep doing that to us.
Still winless.
Hey, so here's the kicker. So the last game of 2023 is going to be Packers and Vikings as the last game that they got slated.
So that's not the last game of the season.
It won't be.
Last game of 2023.
Yeah.
Jordan Love and Kirk Cousins facing off, and we don't even know if Cook is going to be in Minnesota.
Lamar, that's not the last game of the season.
I'm saying 2023. That's the last game they got slated for the year before on the 31st on that New Year's Eve.
Boy,
that's the last game they got slated right now.
You know he went to school in Detroit.
Yeah.
I thought he meant at the end of the 2023, at the end of the season. I didn't know. Say calendar year, man. Damn.
I knew exactly what you meant, Lamar. I knew exactly what you.
We all can't go to Hill, man.
Yeah, your people did you no favors. They should have sent your ass to Hill, man. They should have sacrificed a little bit more.
There was poison in his mind and his water at the same time.
So check it, right? So they updated the rules where every team is allowed to be flexed twice, because it was only one time. You was only able to use, so now they've allowed it to, you can get flexed twice, and you are able to get 2 Thursday night games.
2 Thursdays.
2 Thursday night games now. So
I'm not
that's
really
a lot of room.
I'm not really caring about that 2 Thursday rule, because my thing is, if you want it, I mean,
you're gonna go get it.
They're gonna schedule it anyway.
Right.
On matchup. So it's like, who cares? But I did like the fact that the NFL did for a fact say that not all teams will get a primetime game. So as of right now, Houston Texans, Atlanta Falcons, Indianapolis Colts, Arizona Cardinals do not have a primetime game, and I'm okay with that.
Thank God. I hope they learned their lesson from last year's Indianapolis debacle.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that.
Indianapolis had like 5 primetime games, and they shit them all.
There's obviously with Sean Payton going to Denver, they got 4 or 5 primetime games, so they're trying to see if that makes a difference with let Russ cook. But I'm still like, keep Russ ass out the kitchen. That's me. Let him be a host, let him bring people to the table, and let him sit down.
He gonna be Paula Ding this year. I'm telling you.
So
on it, baby.
So I was looking at the Lions schedule, right? And we have 2 games that don't have a time or date. and that's it's like week 14 or 15 against the Broncos, and then it's the last game of the season against the Vikings, right?
Well, no, that's everybody on week 18. The reason why the NFL does that on week 18 is because they're looking at playoff scenarios. They're looking at
that's what I was gonna ask.
They're looking at playoff seedings. Where's everybody at, and then they'll determine. That's why literally everything says TBD to be determined, because they're looking at not only playoff scenarios but the matchups that matter, so that they actually maximize on the viewership. So they still haven't even come up with an idea who's going to be that Sunday night game. Like last year, it ended up being Packers and the Lions, because that meant something.
Implications.
It had implications, and of course, week 18 is always the last week is always going to be divisional games. So they're looking at which one makes the most sense story-wise, not just story-wise, but also playoff season. So that's why you will always see that from now on with week 18. Some interesting matchups leading up to week 18. Week 17, you got a rematch of Kansas City, Cincinnati. I like that idea. Have a very playoff implicated seeding type of game late in the season. Two favorites in the AFC, obviously, and
there's gonna be another L for Kansas City.
And you know what? I'm okay with that. Cincinnati can beat Kansas City as much as they won in the regular season, as long as it matters in the postseason of when they win. I don't give a damn. Look, Kansas City could lose damn near every home game to Buffalo and Cincinnati. I don't give a damn.
I'm only watching games that Kansas City has a chance to lose anyway. I do not turn on the TV to sit and watch Pat Mahomes and Kelsey. I mean, they've turned into Steph, Clay, and Draymond for me right now. And I rooted for Golden State for years until they became unbearable. And their fans became unbearable, and they started, excusing all that bad behavior, man. Like, and I feel like that's what I'm like, man, dog. Everything Pat Mahomes and Kelsey do is just gold. Like they
gold,
like they dookie gold out, and I'm like, man, dude.
But you know what? And I'm gonna be real. This is a different dynamic, obviously, for me, because I've been rooting for the Chiefs for all my life. So it's some of the attention I don't care for, because I know it's coming from heat off of these bandwagon, people that ain't been riding when we had
Joe Montana was there.
Joe Montana, when we had Rich Gannon, when we had
Jamal Charles.
There was Jamal Charles. We was struggling with Tom Brady's backup and Matt Castle. Like we got cats that's causing all this ruckus that they've been hopping on. Hey, Patrick Mahomes, I like him too. Yeah, like, come on, bro. So it's like you get that in every sport. Like, all these Warrior fans pop up all of a sudden. They probably couldn't even tell you who Monte Ellis was. You know what I'm saying? They probably couldn't even tell you who Mitch Richmond or Chris Webber. None of them old school Warriors, anybody. So it's like they couldn't tell you who Chris Mullin is. They had no idea. They had no clue. So you see
Festus Ezeli.
Damn.
Festus Ezeli.
Yeah, you done.
Man, you went 4 years back, Chris. Stop, man. That is not impressive, man. You went 4 years back, man. This dude named Mitch Richmond and Run TMC and all this stuff. He named this. And you
I'm just saying, Festus Ezeli is a crazy name.
That's 4 years ago, though, man.
Nah, he was a while ago. What? Baron Davis? Baron Davis?
You're not, man. You born in the 90s, man. Just stop.
Yeah.
You're not going far at all. Like, showing your age.
So how Lamar get credit for Monte Ellis, but I don't get credit for Baron Davis?
You didn't say nothing about no Monte Ellis.
No, Lamar he said Monte Ellis. I'm saying, how did he get credit for Monte Ellis, but I don't get credit for Baron Davis?
Because Monte Ellis was a young buck coming in, and Baron Davis was the one who had the big name. You can pull Baron Davis out the hat. He was a first round draft pick.
Lamar, what's the center name? Not David West, but the other one that played for Maurice Spates. There you go, Maurice Spates. There you go. There you go. Maurice Spates. Mo Spates. There you go.
Bro, he played with Steph.
So that was 8 years ago.
All right, go ahead, Lamar.
No, so you got 5 international games this year. You got Jaguars and Bills.
Hated it.
Yeah, that's trash.
Well, this is interesting. So the Jaguars actually got a back-to-back in London, and so let me ask y'all this.
What?
How to work that out?
So let me ask y'all this.
I guess they don't want to waste that gas to go out there for one game.
So let me ask y'all this. At one point, do you just say, just leave the Jaguars over there? Just leave them over there. I'm just saying, though. At one point, do you say, just leave their ass over there? You know?
Just Urban Meyer. Just leave Urban Meyer over there.
I don't think Duval go like that.
So week 4, you got the Falcons, Jaguars in London. And then, like I said, they got the back-to-back. They got Jaguars and Bills. So they're trying to get that Trevor Lawrence and that Josh Allen matchup right there. So week 6, you got another London game, but you got Baltimore Ravens and Tennessee Titans. So you're going to showcase Lamar Jackson. Unfortunately, the Titans, who I think are going to be a very bad team this year, you got to endure that. Here's my take, my way too early take of the NFL season. Mike Vrabel doesn't keep the job through the end of the season. I think he gets clipped in the end about midway through the season. If you take a look at the Tennessee Titans verse 6, it'll make you cringe. On paper right now, obviously there's a lot to happen with training camp and how the team's going to play during the season. But if you look at the paper, they got a very tough first 6 that are just brutal, and that team is rebuilding. I don't care what any Tennessee Titans fans say; they are rebuilding.
So you think Vrabel will be on the hot seat before Tannehill will?
I think Vrabel's already on the hot seat.
I think it's a package deal. I think you cut one and fire the other.
Well, so it's gonna be one first, right? So do you think Vrabel gets fired before Tannehill gets benched for the second year quarterback?
No, Tannehill will be benched, and if it still doesn't work, then Vrabel will be fired.
Bingo. That was my take. Because you grabbed Malik Willis last year. They're not having confidence in him. You have a change in management, new general manager. You go get Will Levis this year. So now you're literally showing to the world that you are literally throwing everything at the quarterback position but Ryan Tannehill, the guy that you paid. So, and the fact that you've already paid him, Derrick Henry hasn't gotten really paid like he was supposed to. And Mike Vrabel's the center of all this, and you collapsed the way that they did. They lost 7 in a row last year.
Yeah, that was bad.
I mean, you tricked AJ Brown. Literally, you just gave the Philadelphia Eagles a number 1 wide receiver.
I just hate when teams be making these bad decisions, and then instead of fixing that bad decision, they start making these other moves that make it worse. Like you look at whatever they was doing in Houston, and O'Brien, his bright idea to fix it was to get rid of D-Hop. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like
peanuts, Jay, for peanuts.
You know what I mean? And the Titans, you pay Tannehill, and all right, we find out Tannehill not gonna take us to the promised land. Well, how we fix this? Well, get rid of AJ Brown. Like, how the heck do they be coming up with this stuff, man? How do you add by subtracting somebody that good? I like what Philadelphia did. They pivoted away from a quarterback. Well, not a quarterback. They pivoted away from a head coach that won them a Super Bowl really quick. As soon as they felt like, as soon as, all right, we pivoted away from him, and they pivoted away from Carson Wentz real quick and went
even
straight
after
to
they
Jalen
paid
Hurts.
Even after they
exactly went straight to Jalen Hurts. That's how you pivot and make quick decisions, right? No, they're making the wrong ones in Tennessee.
Yeah,
I think I feel like oh, he is a Titans fan too. What up, Jay?
What's up, Jay?
I feel like Tannehill has that 4-game leash that a lot of people give their quarterbacks or whatever in the beginning of the season. I think now it's that time, right? Because now you have Malik Willis and you just drafted Will Levis. So you're already showing your hand like, hey, we're not afraid to replace you.
Will Levis, bro. They really want to give that job to Will
Levis.
So
that's what I'm saying. They putting Tannehill on that 4-game leash. And the moment it looks dire,
Chris,
even 2-2, they pull
Chris, it's not a 4-game leash. It's 4 weeks, and I'm talking about preseason. let Will Levis come out
You
there
think
and
you think Levis gonna steal the job out of preseason?
If he light up one game,
hell yeah. I'm
right?
telling you, hey, I'm with you on that, Mel, because I didn't say this to Jay yet, and we haven't talked about it, but if Will Levis, if he does the Russell Wilson thing, goes into training camp and outplays Matt Flynn, they're gonna throw him in week 1. And because at this point, you're rebuilding and trying to fill so many holes, and you got a lot of question marks in just about damn near every position. The only position you're not really worried about is Derrick Henry and Jeffrey Simmons. Other than that, you got a lot of question marks on that football team on how do we fit. And so if Tannehill goes in there and bombs, it's no different if you throw Will Levis in there, who we go get in the second round, and he bombs. It's no different. Let's go ahead and get Will Levis the experience of playing in the NFL, because he's probably going to give you the same output Ryan Tannehill is going to give you, if not more. They want Will Levis in that starting position as soon as he can get it and give him a reason to give it to him.
Yeah. I want to get Jay to call in. I want to get that Titans fan in here and tell us what he needs.
Come on through, Jay.
Call in, Jay. Call in, Double J.
Let's talk about it.
Definitely call in, man. Number is right there on the screen, man.
Yeah. But back to the NFL schedule. So you got 2 more international games. Week 9, you got Dolphins and Chiefs. And I'm gonna stop right here. And this is not me being a Chief fan. This is me looking at an NFL as in how you market your games. And you look at how Tyreek Hill in that story with him in Kansas City, they trade him. He wanted more money. They was only willing to pay him so much. And then, Tyreek's been creating his WWE character since he's been in Miami, hyping up his podcast, and he'll throw out a little nugget out there. And that nugget he's throwing out has Kansas City in it. And so you look at him chirping. Matter of fact, he came back to Kansas City a couple of months ago, did an interview with the local radio station, sports station, and said, man, I can't wait. I can't wait to get to Arrowhead and bust y'all ass. I'm going to throw up the deuces at y'all. So he's chirping in Kansas City. And then you look at certain Chiefs players, they're like, yeah, we heard what he said. And then the NFL takes that game out of Arrowhead and they throw it in Germany. That's probably a move that I understand the reason why you do it. You want to market Patrick Mahomes in Germany. You want to market Tyreek Hill and the Dolphins. And you take that matchup and you're going to, expand into your international crowd. So, hey, here's a story for you guys to latch on to. I understand that point. But you literally took something away that a lot of people were anticipating, especially in the city. Out here, they couldn't wait to see, hey, when Tyreek coming to Arrowhead.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? That's like when you see KD returns to OKC. That's when you see LeBron returns to Cleveland type of situation. You want to see that in that stadium, in the States. So I
agree with that, Lamar. However, they might have been thinking about it another way. Mm-hmm. Right. So if they know they automatically go get eyes on this game because of that or that setup you just talked about.
Yeah.
It's low hanging fruit to have it in Kansas City. We go get the KC fans, but maybe they're having trouble getting people to watch these overseas games because they do air kind of early. Mm-hmm. And maybe with Tyreek Hill and Kansas City having that little back and forth, maybe that'll pique everybody's interest, and they can sell that game to a network better by saying we know people are going to have eyes on this game.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what they was thinking.
And to your point, the reason why you say that, and I can agree with that, is because you look at the next matchup in week 10 for the last international game is in Germany as well, and you got Patriots and Colts. So
Patriots, Colts.
Ew.
So to your point on why you sell that to your international crowd is because you follow it up with a trash matchup in week 10.
So who is like sending these games to the league office? Like, yeah, this is hot fire.
Yeah.
Like you would think they would have learned their lesson last year from all the primetime duds that they had.
It's wild. And now y'all
taking these duds international.
Hey, it's crazy, bro. But here's another interesting note. Obviously, We're having our first Black Friday NFL game this year. So you're going to get 3 Thanksgiving games, of course. You get Packers, Lions, Commanders, Cowboys, Niners, Seahawks, and you get a game Friday. Black Friday is going to be a 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time afternoon game. You get Dolphins and Jets. So you're going to get Dolphins taking on Aaron Rodgers and the Jets division game. So you get, technically, you're going to get about 5 primetime games that week. You get the Monday night game, unfortunately, is Kirk Cousins and the Vikings taking on the Bears. Ravens Chargers going to be your Sunday night primetime game. And then, of course, you get all 3 Thanksgiving games, and then you get the Black Friday game. So that'll be
That's
the first.
gonna be a dope week.
That's gonna be a fire week.
That's gonna be a dope week right there, man. Ain't nothing getting done.
I want to highlight a game that that last Thanksgiving game, Niners Seahawks.
Seahawks, yes.
Is going to be fire.
Yep. Now, NBA, Adam Silver, let me talk to you real quick. Now, I know that you've had the NBA on Christmas Day on lock for a lot of years. And then you went up against Big Bad NFL last year, and it didn't go too well for you this year. All right. So I'm advising you right now, whatever matchups you got on Christmas, you better either make it your best matchup or don't do no Christmas games at all, because not only is the NFL back on Christmas Day, they're giving you Raiders, Chiefs, Eagles, Giants, Ravens, and 49ers on Christmas Day. So
it was in their bag like the fries at the bottom on that one.
Adam Silver.
NBA ain't got no more matchups like that they can throw out there, man. Who you want to see on Christmas?
Adam
Who
Silver.
you want to see on Christmas? They ain't got nothing else.
On Christmas Day, they need to go pull Bronny from USC. They need to go pull Victor Wembanyama versus Chet Holmgren.
I'm gonna tell you the mistake.
Pull out all the stops.
I'm gonna tell you the mistake the NBA made, man. Right. So think about when you used to be hype about these Christmas games, when Golden State was what they were with KD, and they was facing Cleveland, and LeBron was what had Kyrie there. There was a great Christmas matchup, right? Then you had before that you had Kobe in LA facing again.
Bron in Miami.
Bron in Miami,
or
maybe or maybe I don't know if they ever played the Boston Big Three. Boston Big Three was good money and gold.
Melo in New York had a Christmas game, and that's
So what they did is they purposely diminish KD's reputation, so that's not even exciting no more. People don't even think KD is an all-time great, right? So you can't even sell KD no more, and they trying to push Giannis, Luka, Jokic in our face, and nobody want to watch them. Nobody wants to watch them, right? So where they're going to go, and the Golden State Warriors have become unbearable. Nobody even like them personality-wise anymore. And where did the NBA go for a Christmas game now? And don't answer that because we're on football. I just wanted to throw that out there.
No, the true answer is move off of Christmas Day. Let it go. I'm telling you, Mel, you saw the matchups last year, and even the best matchup couldn't even get a quarter of what the worst matchup in the NFL did last year. Couldn't even get a quarter of it. So it's like at some point I know you want to sit there and Adam Silver in the front office of the NBA. They want to be on that same pedestal with the NFL, viewership wise, popularity, hopefully income wise at some point. Now your players are getting paid more guaranteed money. I should say that you get more guaranteed money. So you got that part right. But as in trying to get viewership and the way that the WWE NFL operates is not how the WWE NBA operates. It's two different things. The NFL is generating way too much popularity and money, and the TV deals that they continue to get are astronomical, and your viewership just won't match up at all.
Yeah, the NBA, they got to stop fixing their games. so much. They're not doing good. They're not doing good with it no more. They got to stop fixing their game so much, man.
You know where else the NBA messed up with the Christmas games? They took away the Christmas jerseys. That was one of the biggest things.
Chris, it was cool. It was
them
cool.
Christmas jerseys was fire.
I don't even remember none of them.
But then
nobody was watching for those.
No, but I'm just saying, like, that was
nobody was watching for that, man.
Like,
on,
no, I'm not saying that they was watching for it, but I'm saying, like, that's when like people got excited. People were actually buying the Christmas jerseys. I have a Christmas jersey.
Nobody was watching. Nobody was cared about them Christmas jerseys. That's just like saying you know what Corn Hub messed up at when the females' toes wasn't painted. That's when they messed up.
I'm just saying that was another thing that they need to bring back. They need to bring back the Christmas jerseys.
Hey, on some real, man, some busted toes will turn a brother off, dog. It's in the heart because
it's not like I'm putting them in my mouth or nothing.
They'd be like, yeah, I'm ready. What is that? Is that a bunion? Oh, I can't jack all that is, man. Turn this shit off, man.
No, but I think the biggest thing is that because the stars that we had that made Christmas shine like that, Derrick Rose and the Bulls, LeBron and the Heat with D Wade, Kobe, LeBron and Kyrie, KD and Steph, like all those stars are on the way out, and the stars coming in are half superstars.
They're manufactured superstars. Like they're not supposed to be superstars. They're forcing them into superstardom.
And I don't want to watch a game where, like, Kobe, you get effort on both sides of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
The
and
Heat,
passion.
And it was passion for all those games.
You don't get no passion from Luka. He just crying up for he won't fouls. He step back jumpers, no defense.
Melo loved the game and showed so much emotion. And like those comeback games where he was hitting those big shots, sending MSG into a frenzy. You know, there's no games like that anymore because there's no superstars like that anymore. The superstars that we had like that are on their way out the league.
It's a different game, bro.
They're not playing with that much intensity because they're older now. They don't have it in them like that. And Giannis doesn't have that. Jokic doesn't have that. The only one that probably does have that emotion and that passion is probably Embiid. But what you gonna do? Play Embiid or in five Christmas games?
Embiid got it. Kyrie got it. Steph got it.
Tatum got it.
But they pushing Kyrie out. And they pushing KD out. You know, LeBron's old. It's just all jacked up, man. The NBA, I mean, people would look at the numbers and be like, oh, man, Luka putting up triple doubles and 30, 10, and 10 and be like, the league is in good hands. The league is not in good hands, bro. It's not. But anyway, let's finish this schedule, though.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much it, man. Some very interesting things that I saw with the schedule. The double headers that I thought was a very strange move by the NFL. 3 Christmas games. Like I said, that's trouble for the NBA. You get the Black Friday game, and then that week 17 falls on New Year's Eve, so that's when you get the Chiefs and Bengals. So that's a good matchup. There's a lot of playoff rematches. Eagles and Niners meet up again in Philly. You get a rematch of the Super Bowl in week 12.
Good.
Eagles and Chiefs in Kansas City. So you're going to see a lot of. I think you're going to see when you see those rematches of a lot of playoff teams that have met up or played in the Super Bowl. I think you're going to get a very compelling game, and it's easy to sell. It's low hanging fruit to sell those games. Obviously, you see the Rodgers effect in New York immediately. They're getting about 4 or 5 primetime games. The Russell Wilson with Sean Payton, they get 4 or 5 primetime games. The Lions, get 4 primetime games, obviously being one of the media darlings that a lot of people are talking about.
Real quick, have they come out with strength of schedule yet? Like, do they have a list of people who have the easiest or the hardest schedule?
Yes, I had that pulled up too. Hold on, let me pull that up real quick. I just had it too.
And you know what? I'm not gonna lie, man. I don't really care for why he's pulling that up. I don't really care for the strength of schedule rubric because it's based off of teams winning
last year
from the season before.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of teams first off, a lot of teams can't replicate what they did last season, and a lot of teams don't have what they had last season. So to say that your strength of schedule is based off of their record from last year, it's an inaccurate statement. You know what I'm saying? I never really liked the rubric for that.
Well, I mean, to your point, when you just literally base it off of a team's win-loss record from the year before, and it's something way totally different, and like you said, because you can't obviously 100%, determine what a team's going to look like after a draft, after training camp, after
exactly.
So it's like, but I mean, it's just like anything else. It's just something to talk about, something to, make it seem like it's, something to really, give people talking points at some point. I mean, it's another way for the NFL which is why I think the NBA will never catch up to them. The NFL strategically does a lot of things to place things that really don't matter and trying to make it seem like it matters. Like strength of schedule really don't matter, because at the end of the day, you got to play the game. You're in the NFL, you can lose to anybody at any point in time.
Yeah.
So they always emphasize that. Like, look at the draft. The draft really, at some points, really didn't matter. It mattered to general managers because that's how you build your team. But for the fans, that never mattered. Now look at it. It's now a 3-day event going from city to city. Builds, brings in, generates money like crazy. I mean, when the draft was just here in Kansas City, and I just missed it, man, they brought in almost 320,000 people in the city.
Right.
Nashville brought in 600,000 people when they had the draft there. Like,
Speaking of Nashville, Jay Jones on the line, man. Tennessee fan.
Hey, Jay, what up, my boy?
Hey, what's going on, fellas, man? How y'all feeling, man? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, man. Tell us about this Tennessee situation with their quarterback, man.
Man, it's a mess, bro. It's a true mess, man. Mara tell you, I definitely wasn't a fan of the Will Levis pick. Actually, on the actual draft night, me and my G asked me which quarterback I thought was going to be a bust. I held off because I didn't want to say who, and then we ended up picking him, and I did it anyway. I thought Will Levis was going to be a bust, and we still picked him in the second round. So I'm not happy about it. I'm a huge Malik Willis fan. I believe I think he has the tools to be successful. When Tennessee drafted him, we knew he was going to be a project. Like, we knew he was going to be, take a few years for him to develop. And, when they fired General Manager John Robertson and they bought a new GM, when that happens, they want to bring the players that they want to bring in. And unfortunately, that's what happened. And Malik he wasn't set up for success. And that's where we got here. Tannehill's on his last year. They've been trying to shop him around all off season for the most part. I would have preferred to get C.J. Stroud if he did go another route, but Houston, they made that move and grabbed him. So it's a mess. I agree with you guys. I think Tannehill is kind of like on a short leash. Will Levis, if he does what he's supposed to do and he shows potential, especially with our depleted wide receiver core, they're going to give him the keys real early. And, you know what I'm saying, and try to see if we can, and they're going to see what he got. And, if it doesn't work out, we'll have an early draft pick and maybe we'll get Marvin Harrison Jr.
So do you have any confidence in Will Levis?
Not really. I've been trying to watch some of his tape and trying to listen to his interviews. I mean, he has potential, right? But what is that? You know what I'm saying? A lot of players have potential, but I'm not sold on them yet. And I just don't. I'd rather Malik Willis be out there, man. I'd rather him get that shot.
Okay. So, all right, put it this way though. All right, so let's say Tannehill, because I don't think Tannehill go see much success this year. I mean, I don't even know who he's throwing to. So let's
me and you and Chris.
Exactly right. So expect let's say Henry declines just a little bit, and he's not able to carry the load like he been doing, and Tannehill is declined a little bit. On top of the fact they ain't got nobody to throw to, so you seeing 8 in the box every week. So what's probably going to happen is Tannehill's going to be the first ball to drop, and he might get benched. And as a Titans fan, you're saying that when that happens, you would rather for it to be Willis instead of Will Levis. Now, that's the first part of the question. Second part of it is, if Tannehill can't make nothing happen with that depleted receiving core, once you put Willis in, a second-year player, isn't that kind of setting him up for failure?
It is setting him up for failure. I mean, both quarterbacks are going to be set up for failure because I honestly, with our playmakers on the outside, it's not really too much either one of them can do. I mean, Tannehill can't really do much with them either. But I mean, I feel like, I don't know. I mean, it's a failure for both. But I mean, at least you kind of still get a chance to see what Malik Willis has. Me personally, I don't think Malik Willis is going to even make the roster opening day.
Dang.
Wow.
And I say that not because of talent-wise. I say that because of what I've seen Tennessee do in the past. Tennessee only carries 2 quarterbacks. He might be on the practice squad, worst case scenario, but Tennessee only carries 2 quarterbacks. And last year when we decided to go with Josh Dobbs over Malik Willis for the final playoff spot, I think that was a huge red flag for Malik Willis. That's like, yeah, we don't believe in you. We're gonna go with somebody who has a little bit of experience, but he's off the street. 10 days, we're gonna go with him. Like, I thought that was disrespectful.
Yeah.
To Malik Willis. Like, that's like, what you mean? Like, bro, I've been on your roster the whole year, and you gonna go with somebody that's off the street and been in the facility for a week? Nah, that's disrespectful. And I even said it to Mark last night on our podcast. I really think that this is Mike Vrabel. He can get on the hot seat, depending on what Tennessee does this year. I haven't got a chance to fully look at the schedule, but I do know it's pretty top heavy. We got some folks. We got some good teams we gonna deal with in the first 4 to 5 games. So it's gonna be a lot of moving pieces. New GM in. The quarterback situation is terrible right now, and I think they said right now Tannehill is the highest paid, one of the highest paid QBs this year. And just knowing that and no playmakers, yeah, it's gonna be tough.
All right,
Jay, let me ask you a question.
What's up?
With the trade deadline being, I think, week 8, this is something I've been thinking about since the Titans have kind of been on the decline the last couple of years. What are the chances?
Hold on. We ain't been on a decline the last couple of years. So we declined last year. We ain't on the last couple of years. Hold on that.
It's been the last couple of years.
Hold on, man.
Y'all can't get it done in the playoffs, man. Y'all been getting shorter and shorter. But
well, it was the Bengals. It's been the bad.
Go ahead.
Nah, I remember Tannehill throwing a lot of interceptions recently, so.
I was just saying, now Ryan Tannehill in the playoffs versus Ryan Tannehill during the regular season is 2 different Tannehills. We had a shot when we went in the KC, I think in 2019, and then of course I think we lost to Lamar and the Ravens in 2020, and then of course everybody remembers the Bengals when he threw the 3 picks. So yeah, he's a different player. So yeah. But go ahead. What was your question, though, Chris?
My question is, what are the chances Tennessee unloads Derrick Henry and goes full rebuild this season?
I think it depends what they get. It depends what teams are offering. I mean, as we see, even with players like D-Hop, they want a first round or 2 first rounds or something crazy like that. So I think I don't think they'll trade him mid-season, but I think depending on how bad they go, it's definitely going to be on the table. I think it was on the table this year. I think he signed a 4-year deal, and I think he's 2 years into that deal. So depending on what they do this year, because I mean he's a leader in the locker room as well. So when you talk about trading a player like Derrick Henry you also talking about trading away one of your leaders. So I don't think they'll do it mid-season, but I do think if they're not making a playoff run, I think it's a possibility it's on the table for his last year in Nashville. I would hate to see it, but it wouldn't surprise me if that happened.
I told you last night, Vrabel out of there before the season ends. He up out of there. He up out of there.
Only reason I say he'll last the whole season is because all the players love him. Like, he's really a player's coach. Like, a lot of the players truly love him.
Yeah, management don't give a damn about that.
But no, the management don't. But I think that's true. That's true. But I mean, like, who do you replace him with?
Shit, at this point,
I don't really see.
At this point, Jay, you can finish up the season for him because. I mean, if Jeff Saturday can finish up the season for the coach, why don't you just go ahead and finish up the season? Go ahead and get your suit ready, get your tie ready. Get your Tennessee Titan red and blue on, and be ready to coach at least 7-8 weeks.
Listen, they could follow the footsteps. Listen, they could follow the footsteps of the Raptors and go get Marcus Spears.
Man, y'all silly, man.
Hey, just to help you out, you're looking at week 1 Titans Saints. They go to New Orleans. Chargers go to Cleveland. Cincinnati comes to town. They get the coach. Then they go to London to see the Ravens. So that's your first 6 right there.
Yeah.
Pretty much the only gimme you got is that Indy game. And then after you come back from London, you go, you get Atlanta, go to Pittsburgh, go to Tampa Bay, go to Jacksonville, get Carolina at home, get Colts at home, go to Miami, Texans at home, Seahawks at home, go to Houston, and then you finish up at home against Jaguars. But because I even said.
I ain't gonna lie. If they had some receivers, that's an easy ass schedule.
After week 6, it is
week 6 is like
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but before week 6 is a cheek clapping session.
Yeah,
I definitely got them going 1-5 in that first 6.
That's what I'm saying.
That's real disrespectful, man. Real disrespectful.
He ain't lying. It was looking real shaky.
That's why I said my take earlier. I said if you look at the Titans schedule, that first 6 is a beast, and if Vrabel don't come out of there like at least
3-3,
at least close to 500, like I don't see him making it through the season because you got to take into account, like, bro, like what did y'all drop last year? 7 in a row before the season ended.
We dropped 7 in a row. Yeah, but it's been a lot of changes. It's go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, like, when you lose 7 in a row, that leaves a bad taste in your mouth going into the season. And now, you're talking about new GM, trying to a whole bunch of different moving pieces that you're trying to work. And now, that taste of 7 in a row is still in your owner's mouth. And then you go off and 1-5 start with this schedule. Like, talking about hot seat. Nah, man, that's damn hot seat, bro. You up off that thing, bro. You gone.
Listen, I don't know if y'all ever seen the video of the dude, the Jets player that went to the facility and they changed his code. Like, I must have got cut.
He gonna be like,
yeah, that was Jamal Adams, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't Jamal. It was
Jamal. Nah, it was Jamal.
Was it?
Yeah. And they changed up his key cards. Traded him away. Nah, man, you ain't no Jet no more, man.
That's how they're gonna do Mike Vrabel. They're gonna have his stuff in the box outside, and they're gonna change his code.
That's crazy, yo. They gonna sell him.
Crazy, man. I think, to be honest with you, I think we're gonna win the first game. I think we're gonna clip the Saints, and I think we're gonna clip Cleveland, and I think we're gonna clip Baltimore.
Man, you
so I'm gonna be honest with you.
Actually gonna go.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
I'm telling you.
You're so hopeful, Jay. I love it. You so hopeful, Jay. Look at that.
No, I'm not. It's not hopeful. No, it's just a simple fact. Like Tennessee, that's how they do. Like Tennessee, people will always be like, "Man, that's Tennessee going to look like." They always count them out. Like when we play those teams, those higher echelon teams. I don't know if I said that right or not. I probably did. But those higher grade A tier teams, like man, we're gonna get crushed. Like look at when we played Kansas City last year and Malik Willis started. Nobody gave us a chance. They had us getting blown out by 14 or more, but we still kept it close. We didn't win, but we kept it close. And that's
what, that was a one possession game though.
Tennessee, that's how Tennessee is. Like you'll look at the schedule and be like, oh yeah, they're gonna get crushed by them, but they'll find a way to win the game. So it's gonna be a few of those games where it's gonna look like, hey, they're gonna get crushed and we're gonna come out and win. And I think one of them games is gonna be Baltimore. I think people are gonna look at that and be like, man, they're gonna get crushed. Lamar, all those guys is overseas, whatever the case might be. But I think we're gonna win that game. I think we're gonna beat Derek Carr. You know what I'm saying? I think we'll split all of the division games. I think you know what I'm saying. I think we'll split all of those.
Some gonna get split all right, but it ain't gonna be them games.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Jay.
It's gonna be them daggone cheeks.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Jay. That first
I'm
game,
glad I'm in the headset and I don't know and got dog going through the car speaker.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. That first game against New Orleans, Derek Carr got something to prove. I got him going for 350 at least.
He gonna light y'all up, bro.
And that's cool. He can go for 350. He can go for 350, but he can still come out with an L. That's fine.
I just need to
350 in this modern day NFL ain't nothing.
Jay, if y'all don't pick up Orlando Jones from the replacements, y'all don't got nobody to throw to.
Hey, don't worry, man. I'm trying to tell you.
Y'all better go pick up Michael Irvin from the longest yard and Nelly being Megan.
We're gonna get old boys from All American.
You hear how Chris talk? You hear how Chris talk when his team win 8 games, man?
We won 9. We won 9. We won 9.
I feel bad for everybody on earth if the daggone Lions make the playoffs, man, because he's gonna be unbearable.
I'm unbearable. My God, I'm gonna be unbearable.
Especially had a daggone Super Bowl tattoo on his daggone back.
Especially if we win the North. Oh, I'm about to be an ass.
That man said North, boy. That Detroit education, boy. That ain't no S nowhere in that word.
They gotta stay off of FanDuel and MGM and all them apps. They gotta stay off especially on property.
At least listen, hold on. At least we get our receivers back in week 6. Y'all ain't got no receivers to get back.
I mean, it took y'all only 20 years to get one.
Yeah, Jameson. Not having Jameson Williamson for 6 weeks, man, is gonna be crucial, man.
No, it's not. We'll be all right. We'll be all right. We got Amon-Ra. We got Jahmyr Gibbs in the backfield. We'll be all right. Check it though. Check it though. I'm gonna listen, Jay. Put in a petition to change the name from the Tennessee Titans to the Tennessee Derrick Henrys, because that's all y'all got.
Hey, that's cool. It's been like that for the last. But you got to think though. Tennessee has drafted receivers. It just didn't work out. Like we drafted Corey Davis, and he came on his contract year. He got hot and everything like that. Like they drafted receivers, it hasn't worked out. So I understand from both perspectives to a degree on why they haven't. You know, and then we went after Julio Jones. That didn't work out. You know what I'm saying? After, 12 years of him playing, that ain't work out. So I don't know. They curse when it comes to that position. And when you finally get a receiver in AJ Brown, then you know what I'm saying, they let him go. And as y'all seen, if you look back at the video, Mike Vrabel was pissed when they traded AJ Brown.
Man, they chose Tannehill over AJ Brown, man. That's basically what they did. They chose Tannehill over AJ Brown, basically. Hey, but look, we coming up on 2.5 hours, man. Before we get out of here, make sure you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure you go to the IOW YouTube page, like and subscribe there as well. And then same thing with these Man Cave, the Man Cave podcast, and I forget, is it Faye 213 Productions at the YouTube channel?
613 Faye.
613. I'm sorry, 613 Faye 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 Productions. Go there to find the Man Cave podcast is there, and give them a sub as well. And we'll probably have all of y'all back because we got to have just a straight NFL show. Just to what I want to do is go game by game on y'all teams. Kansas City, we'll take a 30-45 minute time just for Kansas City, and we'll go through the schedule, but we'll do it more closer to the start of the season after we've seen a couple of preseason games. So
I'm down with that.
I was ready to go tomorrow. I thought we were about to do that.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
but if we do it tomorrow, what knowledge are we going off of, man? I want to see how some of these rookies look and these new additions look at at least through training camp and a couple of preseason
because
games.
it'll all be based off of last year anyway.
Well, we could the way too early predictions, and then we get closer to the season, and then we can start doing some realistic.
That's fine. We can do that. That might be the only way we get through at least half the teams anyway. So, so
y'all got a fantasy league? Y'all got a fantasy football league?
Oh my! Shut up!
Hey, Jay.
Oh my God!
As a matter of fact, Jay.
Thank you for like and subscribe, like and subscribe.
Shut it down, y'all, man. We talk. We let y'all later.
I'm glad you asked, baby. I'm glad you asked. As a matter of fact, we do. We got
damn shit. Damn.
Sound like somebody got their head cracked.
No,
we call it. We used to call it the Man Down Podcast, fantasy football, but we've been calling the male invitational for about 4 straight years. So,
oh my God, Jay, you could have asked that offline, man. God.
Hey, shut this shit down.
Oh my God.
Hey, I don't want 4 years in a row, boy. Hey, look, they put together a truce amongst all the team owners that never trade with me, right? And I still won.
Damn, I didn't want to hear this for another 4 months, and I gotta hear it now. Oh,
Jay,
out the way though.
Hey, so Jay, so 2 years ago, Mel won 2 fantasy. No, he won like 3 fantasy leagues.
Three leagues.
Yeah, he won 3 fantasy leagues, and then he won my IOW Sports Football Pick'em, and he was the first cat from the IOW to get the belt. Like he got the belt somewhere behind him.
It's right
there. Yeah, that thing got, bruh. Don't
ever mention fantasy around this man.
Around this guy, man. Don't do it.
Because hey, remember last year after he won, every time he come on the podcast, he played the champ is here. The champ is here.
Hey, come on, man. Hey, man. Hey.
Oh,
matter of fact, he's like, man, I should retire.
The champ is here. The champ is here. The champ is here.
Oh, man, we almost made it out this show talking football without him bringing up that damn fucking league, man. Thanks to Jay.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you.
Oh, that was good, man. But yeah, man. Hey, tell us real quick, since I butchered it, man. Tell us where we can find ILW and the Man Cave Sports Show, man. Let us know what YouTube handles it.
Yeah, man. You know what it is. Go ahead, Jay. You do. No, you got it. I'll wrap IOW. You go ahead and do a 613.
Y'all can just find us 613 Faith Productions on YouTube. That's the YouTube channel. Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts. Check us out. Man Cave Sports Podcast drops on Saturdays. Check us out. Me, G Money, Mike C, Wildcard Mar, and yeah, man, check us out. Like, subscribe, share, drop a comment, and we appreciate all the support from Chris, Mel, everybody else. Again, check us out in the Man Cave Sports group on Facebook.
Yep. Hey, me and Chris ain't got no invite yet, though. I want to throw that out there. Yet. Go ahead.
Because it's not like we don't be doing podcast. We don't know what we be talking about. I'm just saying.
We ain't got no invite yet. Well, Chris, you probably be asleep, but I'm. Hey, you can invite me whenever.
Wow,
whenever,
throwing shots. That's
Chris
crazy.
go to work. Chris go to work and sleep, and then I gotta force him to get up and turn his mic on.
It ain't no. Hey, Jay, you send the invite on there, man. Just as long as it's Fridays or Saturdays, that's all I ask.
Hey, yeah.
Mel out here throwing shots, man. Stop throwing water at the bar, Mel.
Oh
shit! All right, go ahead. What can we find ILW at?
Man, y'all know what it is. Y'all can catch ILW Sports at ILW Sports Network on the Facebook, the Instagram, most importantly, the YouTube channel, and of course, ILW Sports 1 on Twitter. And I always appreciate Man Down, man. man, I'm thinking about it, man. We've been collaborating for a minute, man. So, you know,
Yeah.
Always love the support. And then, I got to give a shout out to Double J and 613 with Mike T and G Money. I've loved collaborating with them and doing the show on the Man Cave Sports podcast. So, man, I just love it how, you know, Kings can get together and try to, you know, grab this big old slice of pie of this podcast world, and we can do it together in unity, man. So I love it, man.
Yeah, that's the only way you can eat an elephant.
I don't know where the hell you got that from, but yeah. But that's one of them old ass sayings that nobody knows.
I was just about to say, man.
Like,
that's
okay.
some old man shit. He's like, you ask the old head how you doing? Hey, old head, what's up, man? Hey, man, I'm just trying to catch 2 flies with some water in the pool with it.
All right, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Hey, man, go check out all those pages on YouTube, man. Even Twitter as well, and the Facebook group as well, man. Do the same thing for Man Down, and we'll catch y'all on the next episode next week, man. Thanks, Jay, for calling in, man. We'll get y'all on the show next time, and we'll see y'all next week, man. Peace.